Chapter 1401. From Zhang Liju's medical notes, Lin Yi learned about the use of the Wanyankan box. This was a box that could preserve the freshness of the herbs, and it could be used to store the fire spirit's fruit. Thinking back, the box also contained herbs, and the herbs hadn't gone bad after so many years. It was all because of the Wanyankan box. But his Wanyankan box was too small, and Lin Yi didn't know how big the fruit was. But from Zhang Liju's description, it shouldn't be that small, since Zhang Liju had to use 2 handkerchiefs to wrap it up and put it in the box. It seemed like the Wanyankan box should be able to store 1 fire spirit's fruit. This way, he could only save Xiaoxiao, not Xiaoxiao's mother. It seemed like Lin Yi was going to bring Xiaoxiao along, just like Zhang Liju, bringing his friend to the extreme north. But this wasn't a difficult thing for Lin Yi. Xiaoxiao was sealed in the ice coffin, and Lin Yi didn't need Lin Yi to take care of her. Lin Yi was deep in thought when Elder Yu, who wasn't far away, moved. Lin Yi's eyes were on the medical notes, but he was also paying attention to his surroundings. After all, there were all sorts of traps in the tomb, and Lin Yi was worried that some spirit beast would appear in the middle of the night. But instead of a spirit beast, Elder Yu came. Suddenly, Elder Yu channeled his practitioner's arts, pushing his strength to the limit, Earth Class Early Phase. Elder Yu took advantage of the time when Lin Yi was reading to attack Lin Yi's chest. He wanted to kill Lin Yi in 1 hit. As for Lin Yi, Elder Yu had an indescribable fear in his heart. This guy was very strange, making chi bombs that no one could break. It was unstoppable. Even a master like Elder Yu didn't dare fight him head-on. So Elder Yu was hoping for 1 hit, and if the ambush was successful, he'd be able to kill Lin Yi instantly, and it'd be much easier for Elder Yu. Even if he couldn't kill Lin Yi, he'd at least be able to injure him. But Elder Yu's plan was perfect, and he didn't expect Lin Yi to dodge the attack the moment the palm came. "What are you doing? Robbing them?" Lin Yi smiled coldly at Elder Yu, a cruel smile on his lips. As Lin Yi expected, Elder Yu was getting impatient after getting out of the tomb, wanting to kill him and steal his treasures. What a quick reaction. Elder Yu's face was a little ugly. "So what if you saw through me? I want to kill you, so what? Kid, I've made up my mind. Although you dodged my attack, this day next year will be the anniversary of your death. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for being too greedy and taking away the treasures I want. So you're saying that you can definitely beat me?" Lin Yi looked at Elder Yu with interest, not at all afraid. "You may have a chi bomb as a trump card, but you're still a mystic. If I risk getting injured and kill you, it's possible," Elder Yu said. "This way, although I'll be heavily injured, you'll be dead for sure." "That sounds reasonable?" Lin Yi nodded and said faintly. "That's right, kid, if you don't want to die, you'd better hand over the medical notes and the refiner notes, as well as that chi gathering pill, and I'll let you live." Elder Yu looked at Lin Yi and said word by word. Hearing Elder Yu's words, Lin Yi couldn't help but laugh. This Elder Yu was too funny, wasn't he? At the end of the day, he still didn't dare to make a move and wanted to scare Lin Yi into giving him what he wanted. If this thing was in someone else's hands, Lin Yi would have gone for it already if he couldn't negotiate with him. Why would he waste so much time talking? But the more it was like this, the more Elder Yu's cowardice was showing. He didn't want to fight Lin Yi because he didn't have the confidence to do so. He didn't want to fight Lin Yi. Not only would he fail to threaten Lin Yi, but he'd also become a joke. "What if I don't?" Lin Yi smiled. "Don't? Then I'll have to risk getting injured and let you die." Elder Yu felt disgusted. This male thief really didn't want to do things the hard way. He wouldn't give up until he saw the coffin. Wouldn't it be better if he just handed the thing over? He didn't have to threaten or bribe him anymore. "All right, I'll make sure you get injured even if I die," Lin Yi said faintly. "Everyone get up. After I beat Elder Yu up, you two go together and kill this old bastard. He still has a chi gathering pill on him. Get it too." Lin Yi had the Jade Space, a super cheat, so he wasn't afraid of Elder Yu. He also had General Wei Wu as a life-saving trump card. Lin Yi wasn't afraid of death, or rather, Lin Yi wouldn't die at all. But Elder Yu was different. Lin Yi's energy bomb could definitely blow him up half to death. At this time, Ling Shan and Yu Tian, the 2 mystics, would definitely be able to kill Elder Yu. Any expert would be very weak when they were seriously injured. Being killed by an Earth rank expert wasn't a strange thing. Not to mention that two experts who were only one rank apart were attacking at the same time. Ling Shan and Yu Tian had been waiting for Lin Yi's summons. After hearing Lin Yi's words, the two stood up abruptly and channeled their practitioner's arts, revealing their strength as mystic early phase. Wah! Elder Yu's eyes went wide as he looked at the two mystics. No way. Weren't these two golden class late phase peak masters? How did they become mystic all of a sudden? Elder Yu was shocked, speechless. You guys. How are you mystic? Yes. Is there a problem? Lin Yi smiled faintly. They were hiding their strength before, can't they? Lin Yi naturally wouldn't say that he was the one who increased their strength in a short time. That would be too shocking. Lin Yi didn't have full confidence that he could make Elder Yu stay, so it was better to keep this a secret. If people knew about this ability of his, it would bring him a lot of unnecessary trouble. Hiding their strength? Elder Yu's face was very ugly. There was no other reason than that he didn't have absolute confidence anymore. Before, Ling Shan and Yu Tian were only golden class, and although they were golden class late phase peak, they were 2 levels lower than earth class. As far as he was concerned, even if he was heavily injured, these 2 golden class juniors wouldn't be able to do anything to him. Chapter 1402. The chances of winning were 50-50, depending on how heavily injured the earth class was, as well as the skills and coordination of the 2 mystics. But even so, Elder Yu didn't dare gamble. The items belonged to the hidden house Yu, but his life was his. It wasn't worth risking his life for these things. He didn't have the confidence to win in the current situation, and with that, Elder Yu was thinking of retreating. On the other side, Lin Yi had already started to condense the energy bomb, looking at Elder Yu cautiously. Good, very good. Hiding your strength. No wonder you're so fearless. It turns out that you have 2 mystic class helpers by your side. TSK, thief couple, good strength, good tricks, good scheming. Elder Yu said good 3 times, and it was hard to tell if he was praising or mocking. A tomb raiding organization with such strength, it's an eye-opener for me. This combination of yours, even in the common world, you're at the top. Thanks for the compliment, Elder Yu. If we don't get along, then let's fight. Lin Yi said. Humph, between you and me, there will be a fight, but... Elder Yu's tone changed suddenly. But not now. Male thief. I'll remember you. We'll meet again. Elder Yu didn't even finish his sentence before he turned and ran, his speed shocking Lin Yi. Lin Yi thought that Elder Yu was going to make a move when he heard the first half of the sentence. But the second half of the sentence, Elder Yu ran away faster than a rabbit, leaving Lin Yi speechless. He ran. Lin Yi looked at the energy bomb in his hand, not sure if he should cry or laugh. Condensed it for nothing? It didn't seem to be of much use anymore? Ling Shan and Yu Tian looked at each other. No way? Isn't this earth class a little too cowardly? He's always been a coward, not even as big as I am. On the other side, Xianxia had woken up a long time ago, but Lin Yi and Elder Yu were at each other's throats, so she didn't dare to say much. Only after Elder Yu left did she dare to speak. That's true. This old thing is more afraid of death than anyone else. Lin Yi nodded. Forget it. Let's not care about him anymore. Lin Yi didn't have absolute confidence that he could make Elder Yu stay, so he wouldn't chase after him. Lin Yi's main goal now was to find a way to save Xiaoxiao, so it was better to avoid trouble. Ling Shan and Yu Tian were a little disappointed. They'd just broken through to Mystic, and were rubbing their palms in preparation for a test, but their target was nowhere to be seen. He won't come back, right? Ling Shan said worriedly as she looked at the exit. I'm afraid he'll turn around and attack us when we're not prepared. Unless his head's pierced. Lin Yi shook his head. He won't come back. Lin Yi had seen through Elder Yu's personality already. He was the type that would bully you to death if he could beat you, and run away if he couldn't. It'd be best if he never saw you again. Elder Yu had been as cowardly as a mouse on the way, and Lin Yi had seen that with his own eyes. He probably wouldn't see Elder Yu for a while. Ling Shan nodded after hearing Lin Yi's words. Lin Yi was probably right. Elder Yu probably wouldn't come back. All right, you guys go back to resting. I'll guard this place. Lin Yi sat cross-legged on the ground and continued reading the notebooks. This was good. Lin Yi didn't have to worry about Elder Yu taking it away, and so Lin Yi didn't have to worry too much about memorizing the things in the books. Lin Yi waited for Xiaoxia and Old Hei to wake up, but Elder Yu was nowhere to be seen. Evidently, Elder Yu didn't plan on coming back, and this made Lin Yi heave a sigh of relief. Elder Yu was afraid of Lin Yi, but Lin Yi wasn't afraid of Elder Yu either. It was just that Lin Yi was more fearless, and Elder Yu was more afraid of his life. This way, Elder Yu's aura was weaker. As the saying goes, the hard is afraid of the hard, and the hard is afraid of the reckless. Elder Yu, on the other hand, was the hard one, and Lin Yi was the reckless one. Comparing the two, it was obvious who was better. After eating some biscuits, Lin Yi led the group forward. They didn't see any traces of Elder Yu along the way. Elder Yu was very fast, and if he went at full speed, Lin Yi and the others wouldn't be able to catch up to him. Just like that, they walked for another 2 days. The nights were the same, and Lin Yi stood guard. On the third day, Lin Yi suddenly stopped. Lin Yi's sudden stop startled Lingshan, Yutian, Xiaoka, and Old He. "What's wrong, male thief? Is there danger ahead?" Old He's heart had just calmed down a couple of days ago, and Lin Yi's actions almost made him explode. "There's the smell of blood, and it seems fresh," Lin Yi said after a deep breath. "The smell of blood?" Lingshan and Yutian paused and sniffed attentively. They were both sensitive to the smell of blood, and they could smell it as well when Lin Yi said that. "There's indeed the smell of blood. It's not far away. It can't be Elder Yu, right?" Old He said hesitantly. "I don't know, but it's possible." With that, Lin Yi started walking forward. He could smell the blood, but the jade on Lin Yi's chest didn't warn him anymore. This meant that there shouldn't be any danger ahead. Seeing that Lin Yi was leaving, the group quickly followed, but they didn't get far before Lin Yi stopped again. "What's wrong?" Lingshan asked. "Look at the ground." Lin Yi pointed the flashlight at the ground not far away. Everyone looked down and saw a pile of swords scattered on the ground not far away. There were faint bloodstains on a few of the swords, and there were also bloodstains on a corner of the ground. "Ha!" Lin Yi couldn't help but smile. The person who designed this tomb. I really don't know what to say. This was probably the last mechanism, and Elder Yu triggered it. It's simple, but if you don't put your guard up, the consequences will be severe. As expected, the mechanism here is controlled by a very inconspicuous silk thread. Once the thread breaks, the mechanism will activate, and the swords will shoot out. Elder Yu probably walked too hastily, and it makes sense that he couldn't see clearly in the darkness. Xiaoka said as she squatted down and found a very thin broken thread. Chapter 1403. Old He had seen everything that happened that night, but he was smart enough not to say anything about it. Lin Yi and his wife had become an unreachable existence in Old He's heart. They weren't even on the same level as small grave robbers like him. "There's poison on the sword." Lin Yi picked up a sword and sniffed it. "It's a very strong, slow poison. You won't feel anything at first, but as time goes on, the sickness will act up. If you don't find a good doctor to cure you, you'll be crippled even if you don't die. This poison will destroy the nervous system of the body, and you'll end up in a vegetative state." "That's strong." Xiaoka jumped, quickly standing up to get away from the swords. "This poison isn't contagious, right? I was so close to it. Will I be all right?" "It's fine. Even if you're poisoned, I can cure it," Lin Yi said faintly. This poison was strong, but it wasn't a problem for a medical expert like Lin Yi. Even Yao Wang could cure it, let alone Lin Yi. "Oh." Xiaoka nodded, letting out a breath. "Let's keep going. I'll be in front. Just be careful." Lin Yi wasn't afraid of anything. Lin Yi was already very careful, and even if there was danger ahead, Lin Yi had the jade to warn him. What they didn't expect was that after walking past the swords, they could see a faint light not far away. As they moved forward, the light became brighter and more dazzling. After walking for a few dozen meters, they made a turn and could easily see the exit in the distance. Just a few hundred meters away was the entrance of the cave. The sun was shining brightly outside, brightening everyone's mood that had been gloomy for the past few days. "Great, we're finally out," Xiaoka cheered. Old He let out a breath of relief as well. He'd been through life and death in this tomb raiding, and he almost didn't make it back. After this, Old He probably wouldn't dare rob tombs anymore. Of course, Lingshan wouldn't give him that chance. "You guys move yourself, I won't be joining in," Lin Yi said quietly after seeing the exit, letting out a breath of relief. "Okay, then take care of yourself." Lingshan understood what Lin Yi was saying. He wanted her and Yuqian to discuss catching old He after they got out of the tomb. Lin Yi indeed couldn't participate in this, and he had his own things to do. He was probably in a rush to save Xiao, so he didn't have time for her. Lin Yi nodded, and the group finally reached the entrance of the cave. It was bright outside, and outside the cave was a small valley, very similar to the small valley they entered the tomb from before. The appearance of the cave was no different from a normal cave, and it wouldn't attract attention. Elder Yu was long gone, and the valley was very quiet. There weren't many plants in this mountain, and even the birds were pitiful. The entire valley was very quiet. Let's search here. I have something to discuss with the flying sparrow. Lin Yi stopped and said to Lingshan. Lingshan paused and looked at Xiaoka, understanding what Lin Yi meant. Lin Yi was going back to protect Xiaoka, and she and Yuqian were going to reveal their identities to old He and arrest him. Xiaoka, naturally, would be arrested as well. Lin Yi was doing this to make Xiaoka a helper, not a grave robber. But Xiaoka really didn't take any relics, so Lingshan gave Lin Yi face. In fact, she knew that even if she didn't give him face, Lin Yi would still protect her. Someone as domineering as Lin Yi wasn't someone she could control. All right, we'll be going then. Lingshan didn't say much as she and Yuqian grabbed old He's body, jumping up from the bottom of the valley to the top. Without a rope, old He had to rely on Lingshan and Yuqian if he wanted to get out. After getting up, old He was a little grateful. He didn't think that the female thief would be this benevolent, bringing him out of the valley after leaving the tomb, not abandoning him. He was very touched. Thank you, female thief. I'll remember this favor. Don't worry, I'll give you guys a share of the loot, whether you want it or not. No need, Lingshan said faintly. This is what we should do. Should do? Old He paused. Old He, this is my ID, you're under arrest. Yuqian had taken out an ID and showed it to old He. Lingshan, on the other hand, took out a pair of handcuffs and put them on old He's hands. Old Sable was dumbfounded by the scene in front of him. He didn't know what these two were up to, so he asked in confusion, Female thief, what are you playing at? If you want my things, I'll give them all to you. I don't want them, just let me live. Ever since he knew that the female thief and her followers were all mystic class masters, old He didn't even have the slightest intention to fight back. Mystic class masters were legendary existences. Even if old He fought with his life on the line, it would be suicide. Old He, don't even think about it. I'm the captain of Songshan's police department, Lingshan. I'm not a female thief, Lingshan said as she took off her mask. On the other side, Yuqian had taken off his mask as well, using his GPS to get a helicopter. Huh. Blackie was dumbfounded. No way, these two weren't grave robbers? Old He's heart sank as he looked at the two acting so seriously. This was most likely real. Old He could only smile bitterly inside. Even if it was real, he wouldn't dare fight back. Two mystic masters could kill him easily, and he didn't want to look for trouble. He could only lower his head and accept his fate. At the bottom of the valley, Xiaoka looked at Lin Yi, confused. She didn't know why Lin Yi asked her to stay. But, thinking back to what the male thief did to her in the tomb, she couldn't help but blush. He wasn't going to ask her to be his mistress, was he? Chapter 1404. But, what Xiaoka didn't understand was why the female thief was so lenient towards the male thief. When the male thief wanted to stay alone with her, the female thief didn't say anything. Could it be that the couple was just a title, and they were just partners, not a real couple? At that thought, Xiaoka felt that it was very possible. On the way here, she didn't notice that the male thief and the female thief had an intimate relationship, and they didn't seem to communicate much. Do you need something from me? The usually bold female thief Xiaoka was a little shy now. It's nothing. I'll send you out of the valley, and you can go the other way. Don't meet the female thief again, or it won't do you any good. Lin Yi didn't notice Xiaoka's expression. Lin Yi was thinking about whether or not he should go back to the tomb. After all, the notes mentioned the skybolt pig, and Lin Yi was very interested in this little beast. If he wanted to find the fire spirit's fruit, he couldn't leave this little fellow. No matter what, Lin Yi had to go look for it. Female thief? Does she want to hurt me? Xiaoka paused. Nope, but I don't want you two to meet again. Lin Yi didn't want to explain it. At least, he didn't want to reveal his identity in front of Xiaoka. Once he did, Ling Shan's identity would be revealed as well, and it'd be awkward for him to see Xiaoka again. Plus, this was a secret mission, and the fewer people who knew the better. Oh! Lin Yi's words were a little ambiguous, and Xiaoka misunderstood. She thought that Lin Yi was really interested in her, and he was afraid that the female thief would hurt her. Thinking about how she was about to part ways with Lin Yi, Xiaoka felt a little sad. Then, will I be able to see you again? I don't think so. Lin Yi frowned. He didn't know if he should cry or laugh at the weird feelings in Xiaoka's words. Did Xiaoka really think that he liked her? But Lin Yi didn't lie to her. This was probably the last time he would appear in front of Xiaoka as the male thief. After this mission, Lin Yi wouldn't pretend to be the male thief anymore, and the male thief had been killed by Yuqian a long time ago. There wouldn't be a male thief in this world anymore. Oh! Xiaoka was a little disappointed. She felt a little lost. This was the first man she had fallen for. Although she didn't know what he looked like, she didn't know his real name either. Other than that, Xiaoka didn't know anything else about the male thief. She hadn't seen him before, and from what he said, it seemed like they wouldn't meet again. I'll send you out and I'll go back to the tomb, Lin said. You still want to go back? Xiaoka froze. Yeah, I want to go into the death door. Maybe there's something I'm looking for inside. Lin Yi said. How about I go with you? Xiaoka blushed. Although I'm a little clumsy, but I should be able to help. Xiaoka didn't want to leave Lin Yi, even if it was just a little longer. From what Lin Yi said, he didn't seem to have any other feelings for her. So after today, they might not meet again. And Xiaoka wouldn't accept any more missions from the thief's door. If she accepted another mission like this one, she would really die without Lin Yi. All right, let's go together then. Lin Yi thought about it and nodded. Lin Yi's plan was to have Xiaoka accompany him. Although Lin Yi had the jade, his understanding of the tomb's mechanisms wasn't as good as Xiaoka's. Especially after Xiaoka put the life door and death door together, Lin Yi's idea was even stronger. Xiaoka was happy. Going back to the tomb would mean going to the death door again. It might be dangerous, but she didn't know why, but she felt a sense of security when she was with the male thief. It was as if nothing could hurt her as long as he was there. Are we going back now? Xiaoka asked. Yeah, I'll bring you back. Lin Yi said as he carried Xiaoka and put her under his armpit. He quickly ran back to the cave. Xiaoka didn't think that Lin Yi would carry her and run back. She was a little shy, but she didn't struggle. It felt good. Lin Yi was a mystic class master. After using his pure qi, he could maintain his fastest speed back to the life door and death door. He didn't need to rest along the way. But Xiaoka was different. She needed to rest from time to time, so Lin Yi took her place. General Wei Wu was a mystic class dog as well. It wasn't hard for him to follow behind Lin Yi. And so, the man and dog began to run through the life door, not resting at all. Yu Xiaoka, on the other hand, didn't feel as nervous and worried as she was in the tomb, and she felt very safe, so she took a nap midway. Lin Yi put Xiaoka down when they returned to the life door and death door. So fast. Xiaoka felt that Lin Yi didn't take much time to run back. She was surprised. It doesn't take long for a mystic class master to run at full speed. Elder Yu is even faster. Lin Yi said, all right, let's not study this. The puzzle on the ground is the picture on the death door, right? As long as we put the pieces together, we can open the death door? That should be the case, but there's a pattern to the death door's puzzle. Every piece of the puzzle can't be moved randomly, or it'll bring unexpected danger, Xiaoka nodded. Okay, you guide me, Lin Yi nodded. Tell me which piece to move and I'll move it. Okay. Xiaoka wanted to say how dangerous it was. But she knew Lin Yi's personality. He did all the dangerous things along the way, even when Old Hay and Elder Yu were here. Not to mention when they were alone, Lin Yi protected her all the way. He definitely wouldn't let her move the pieces. Lin Yi walked over and stood in front of the death door. He was ready to move the pieces. Move this piece to the left first, Xiaoka pointed at a piece on the death door. This piece? Okay. Lin Yi put his hand on the piece. The jade didn't give off any warning signal. Lin Yi was relieved and moved the piece. Chapter 1405. And then? Lin Yi asked. Oh. Then try to move this piece down. Xiaoka pointed at another piece. This one? Lin Yi placed his hand on the piece Xiaoka was talking about and was about to move it when the jade sent a warning signal. It seemed like if he moved it now, danger would appear. Lin Yi shook his head. Not this one, it's dangerous. Xiaoka paused. She didn't think that Lin Yi would feel danger without even touching the puzzle pieces. She felt that it was a little strange, but this wasn't the first time Lin Yi had acted like this on the way, so she wasn't surprised anymore. Then move the top piece and move this one down. This one. Lin Yi felt it and there was no danger, so he nodded. Okay, it works. This one is fine? Xiaoka paused. She didn't know how Lin Yi knew that moving the puzzle wouldn't bring danger to them. Heh. Lin Yi smiled as he moved the piece. This one is safe. Which one should we move next? Amazing. Xiaoka clicked her tongue, thinking that this male thief was quite skillful, being able to tell if there was danger just by touching something. Xiaoka definitely didn't have this kind of ability. Xiaoka looked at the pieces on the ground. This one, can I move it? Yes, Lin Yi said and moved the piece Xiaoka was pointing at. What about this one? Xiaoka asked. No. Lin Yi shook his head. Then this one? Xiaoka asked again. This one is fine, Lin Yi nodded. 10 hours later, Lin Yi finally placed the last piece of the puzzle in the correct position. He stepped aside and let out a long sigh of relief. I'm finally done. In actuality, Lin Yi had a golden finger, but he couldn't move the puzzle as he pleased. He had to test every single piece, and that greatly delayed the efficiency of moving the puzzle. As a result, the two of them worked together for more than 10 hours before they were able to complete the puzzle. Compared to the life gate pattern from before, it was almost twice as long. Click, on the death door, there was a sound similar to when the life door opened, followed by a loud rumbling sound. The mechanism was completely activated. It's finally open. Xiaoka breathed in relief. But there might be danger in here, we need to be prepared. Stay beside me later, don't do anything rash, I'll be able to sense it immediately, it'll be fine, Lin Yi said. Without Elder Yu by his side, Lin Yi was a lot more casual. Xiaoka nodded. She didn't know why, but she had an inexplicable sense of trust towards Lin Yi. She felt that as long as Lin Yi was there was nothing to be afraid of. Now, only Lin Yi, Xiaoka, and General Wei Wu were left in the tomb, so Lin Yi didn't need to ask anything. He walked over and opened the death door. Even if Lin Yi didn't do it, Xiaoka would do it, so it was safer for Lin Yi to do it. It was completely different from the life door. The path behind the death door was just like the tomb, smooth and spacious, even more luxurious and beautiful than before. The two sides of the path were smooth and flat, but the wall behind the death door was engraved with murals. Lin Yi walked very slowly to prepare for any danger that might come at any time, but the jade on his chest didn't alert Lin Yi, which surprised him. After walking for about a kilometer, it was still very peaceful. There was no movement from the jade pendant, and nothing happened in the passageway. Why is it so quiet? There's no movement at all? Xiaoka asked curiously. How would I know? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. All right, let me ask you something. Inside the death door, are there any powerful traps? That might not be the case. Xiaoka thought for a while and said, normally that's true, but sometimes there are exceptions. There might be no traps in the death door, and all the traps are concentrated in the place where the death door should be opened. Lin Yi nodded and continued walking. Although he heard Xiaoka's explanation, Lin Yi didn't let his guard down. Suddenly, General Wei Wu, who was in front of Lin Yi, stopped and stood in the middle of the path. What's wrong? Lin Yi was startled, not understanding what General Wei Wu meant. Was there danger? At least, the jade on Lin Yi's chest didn't send out any warning signals. Woof woof. General Wei Wu balked at the darkness in front of them. Lin Yi and Xiaoka were confused, not knowing what General Wei Wu was trying to do. In the darkness far away, there was no movement at all. Lin Yi was puzzled, but General Wei Wu called out twice again. This time, there seemed to be a hint of anger in its cries. Woof woof. General Wei Wu barked even louder than before. This time, there was finally movement in the darkness. There were two weak GG sounds, and then a small shadow walked towards General Wei Wu, twisting and wobbling as if it was very scared. What is that? Yu Xiaoka looked at the thing that was walking over and asked curiously. Lin Yi, on the other hand, had the same question, but he was excited for no reason. Was it really that thing? When the little fellow walked closer, Lin Yi's eyes finally froze. His guess was right. From the looks of it, it was that little fellow. This little thing looked a bit like a pig, but it wasn't very similar. Its entire body was round and upright, but it walked on two hind legs. Its front paws were like arms, hanging on both sides, swaying. It was a bit like a cute version of Zhu Beiji. Looking at the little fellow, it seemed a little wronged, as if General Wei Wu disturbed its dream. It wanted to protest, but it didn't dare to. It could only walk over under General Wei Wu's angry roar. Chapter 1406. One had to know that if a person without any cultivation wanted to rely on eating some treasures to increase the qi in his body and reach the middle phase of the golden class, he would be able to eat the entire wealth of a noble house to the point of going broke. Although Lin Yi didn't know how many treasures this little guy needed to become like this, it was obvious that it wasn't a small amount. It should be Skybolt Pig, Lin Yi said to Xianxia. I'm here for this little thing. Skybolt Pig? What an interesting name, Xianxia said. At this moment, General Wei Wu and Skybolt Pig started conversing. Although Lin Yi didn't understand what they were talking about, General Wei Wu definitely understood what Lin Yi meant. It was probably communicating with Skybolt Pig to pass on Lin Yi's message to this little thing. At this moment, Lin Yi understood why the jade didn't warn him when General Wei Wu roared. This little thing wasn't dangerous at all. Therefore the jade didn't warn him, but General Wei Wu sensed the little thing's message and called it out. It's interesting, but this little guy does look interesting too, Lin Yi said as he looked at the pig on the ground. Since this piglet can walk around freely in the tomb behind the death door, then our previous guess should be correct. There's no danger here. If there's a dangerous trap, it'd be a tragedy if this little thing triggered it, Xianxia said. What's wrong? Xianxia asked. That makes sense. Lin Yi nodded and looked at General Wei Wu and the little thing chattering. He couldn't help but ask, Lil Wei, what do you think? Does this little thing want to go with us? To find the fire spirit's fruit? Woof. General Wei Wu turned around and shook its head at Lin Yi. It raised its two front paws and moved as if it was helpless. Then, it gestured for Lin Yi to calm down, telling him not to worry and to leave it to it. All right, I'll leave it to you then. Lin Yi nodded. Luckily General Wei Wu was smart enough to communicate with this little thing. If not, even if Lin Yi forcefully took this pig away, it wouldn't listen to him. If it didn't help him find the fire spirit's fruit, Lin Yi couldn't do anything about it. Plus, this little thing would disappear without a trace. Where would Lin Yi find it? Therefore, it was better to let General Wei Wu do its job and let it go with him. This would save him a lot of trouble. However, it could be seen that even though the little fellow's rank was lower than General Wei Wu and he was afraid of General Wei Wu, he seemed to be very stubborn. He kept chattering with General Wei Wu and had no intention of leaving with Lin Yi. This dog can understand you? Xianxia felt that the male thief was a little unbelievable. He had a high-class spirit beast with him, one that had high intelligence and could understand human language. It was too strange. It can understand, that's amazing. Lin Yi said, let's sit down and wait for a while. It seems like General Wei Wu won't be able to finish the little fellow's job in a short amount of time. Let's take a break first. Okay. Xianxia listened to Lin Yi. She felt that staying here alone with Lin Yi for a while would be a beautiful memory in her life. She didn't know if she would be able to see Lin Yi again. Thinking about this, Xianxia felt a little melancholy. This was the first time she fell for a guy, but it ended in silence. After some hesitation, Xianxia said, let's talk. Talk about what? Lin Yi asked. Tell me about yourself. Are you and the female thief husband and wife? Xianxia asked. No. Lin Yi didn't expect Xianxia to ask this, but he didn't lie to her and told her the truth. You're not? If you're not husband and wife, then why are you called the couple thieves? Xianxia heard Lin Yi's answer and her heart skipped a beat. Old Hei's group is called Red Pagoda. Do you think he looks like a pagoda? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. I have another girlfriend. This time, I'm here to find medicine for her. You have a girlfriend. Xianxia was a little happy when she heard that the female thief and Lin Yi weren't husband and wife, but when she heard that Lin Yi already had a girlfriend, she was a little disappointed. Is it that fire spirit's fruit you were talking about? Yeah, I need this little fellow to help me find it. Lin Yi pointed at Skybolt Pig. I see. No wonder you risked coming back to the tomb. You treat your girlfriend so well. Xiaoka said enviously. She was thinking, how good would it be if Lin Yi treated her this well? This is her only hope. She can only live if she finds the fruit, or else. Lin Yi stopped here. All right, let's not talk about this anymore. Let's rest for a while. Oh. Xiaoka nodded. Zhao Fafa finally got his distant cousin Zhao Qibing's address from his father. He had met Zhao Qibing before, but it was only on the dining table. Zhao Qibing said that he would take care of him, but Zhao Fafa never contacted him after that. This time, Zhao Fafa couldn't take it anymore. He asked his follower son Xiaoxing to scare Lin Yi, but not only did he fail, he was bullied by Lin Yi. How could he accept this? Zhao Fafa's ego had been inflated to the limit recently. How could he take this lying down after being bullied like this? In Zhao Fafa's eyes, there was nothing in Songshan that he couldn't deal with. As the new head of Songshan's 4 young masters, Zhao Fafa felt that he had to get back at Lin Yi. He wanted to teach him a lesson and make him give Tang Yun to him. So, after getting Zhao Qibing's contact, Zhao Fafa rushed to the floating cloud bar immediately. Qibing had been quite happy these past few days. There was no other reason than that he had an Earth class helping him out of nowhere. It was like adding wings to a tiger. Boss Zhu didn't explicitly say that he'd support him, but it seemed like it wasn't far from the truth. He believed that in time, Boss Zhu would be under his wing and become one of his generals. Master Bing, there's a kid driving a Ferrari outside. He claims to be your cousin and wants to see you. What do you think? Su Jiaonong walked in and asked. Chapter 1407. Master Bing. Could it be that Zhao Fafa? Zhao Guangxi's son? Sihua had a good memory, and he'd been working with Guangxi's construction team to develop the slums recently. That was why Sihua thought of this person. Him? Call him in then. Qibing thought of this person after hearing Sihua's words. He nodded and asked Su Jiaonong to call him in. Su Jiaonong replied and left the room. After a while, he came back with Zhao Fafa. Zhao Qibing saw that it was indeed him and nodded. Zhao Fafa, why are you here? Cousin bro, I was bullied. I'm here to ask for your help. Zhao Fafa didn't say much and went straight to the point. You were bullied? Bullied by someone? Qibing frowned. What happened? It's like this, my dad is working with you now, cousin bro, right? I've earned a lot of money recently, so I bought a villa for myself. In the district, I saw a girl, and I wanted to hook up with her, but her boyfriend saw us, so. Zhao Fafa told Zhao Qibing about his conflict with Lin Yi, but he didn't mention Lin Yi and Tang Yun's names. To him, they were nobodies, and Zhao Qibing wouldn't know them even if he told him, so he didn't say anything. What's the kid's background? Qibing listened to Zhao Fafa's story and felt that this kid was too much of a trash. He couldn't even handle a girl, and now he was asking for help? He was too weak. If it weren't for the cooperation between Zhao Guangxi and House Zhao, Qibing wouldn't even bother with this relative who popped out of nowhere. He doesn't have any background, I think. He's a rich second generation, and he usually drives a Bentley. He's definitely not as good as you, cousin bro. Zhao Fafa said. Oh, but you said that the kid knows Kung Fu, and your gangsters aren't his match. Normal people won't be able to help you. If you want to teach him a lesson, you need practitioners. Qibing said. But, isn't it a bit overkill to send practitioners for such a small matter? Not really. Cousin brother, this is also the time for us House Zhao to be famous. I told him your name before, but he said that he didn't know you. He had never heard of you before. Zhao Fafa started to exaggerate. Look how infuriating. What the hell was that? I can't believe I didn't know your name. I'm from a hidden house, so I need to keep a low profile. It's normal that no one knows my name. Plus, the people who know me are all famous people in Songshan City. Those Tom, Dick, and Harry wouldn't know me. Although Qibing said that, he was still a little pissed. These 2 days, Boss Zhu's friendliness had boosted Qibing's confidence, and now that someone was looking down on him, naturally, he wouldn't feel good. If that's the case, why don't we let Uncle Zhu go with you? Uncle Zhu, you've just recovered from your injury. Why don't you go and stretch your body? No problem. We'll do as Master Bing says. I'll go out for a bit. Uncle Zhu said. In fact, he was a little bored during this period of time. He also wanted to go out and exercise his muscles. However, Teaching a young master who knew a little martial arts a lesson was a little overkill. Thank you, cousin brother. Zhao Fafa had learned some secrets about the noble houses from his father recently. There were practitioners in the noble houses, and the lowest-level golden-class practitioner could fly on roofs and run on walls, crushing boulders with their fists. This was a very powerful existence. This Uncle Zhu was obviously a practitioner. Although Zhao Fafa didn't know his level, he thought that Lin Yi was dead for sure. Going against a practitioner was like eating arsenic. You don't have to thank me. Since you said that you're from House Zhao, you just have to work hard for me in the future. We can talk about anything. Zhao Qibing waved his hand. All right, Uncle Zhu used to be a mystic class practitioner, but because of his injuries, he lost some of his strength. But he's still a golden class master. Dealing with a kid who knows martial arts is a piece of cake. That's amazing. Thank you, cousin brother. Thank you, Uncle Zhu. Zhao Fafa was overjoyed. After leaving the floating cloud bar, Zhao Fafa felt great. He had a golden class master by his side. Why would he be afraid of Lin Yi? He didn't stop and drove Uncle Zhu directly to the district he lived in. Zhao Fafa knew Tang Yun's address very well, so he brought Uncle Zhu directly to her house. Tang Yun had just returned home from school when someone knocked on her door. Mrs. Tang was puzzled. Who would come at this hour? Although they had gotten to know a lot of people in this area, they weren't close enough to visit each other. Only Xiaofan's family could visit, but Xiaofan's family knew that Tang Yun had to study at night, so they wouldn't knock on her door at this hour. Who is it? Mrs. Tang asked. The property management, checking the water meter. Zhao Fafa knew that Mrs. Tang wouldn't open the door if he said that he was here for revenge, so he pretended to be a property management employee. Mrs. Tang wasn't on guard. After all, the security in this area was quite good, and anyone who wasn't a resident would be checked by the security guards. And so, Mrs. Tang opened the door, and Zhao Fafa barged in without any hesitation. What do you want? Mrs. Tang jumped as she looked at Zhao Fafa. He didn't look like someone from the property management company at all. Uncle Zhu, on the other hand, looked like a door god's bodyguard, standing beside Zhao Fafa with a cold face. Where's your daughter? Zhao Fafa looked at Mrs. Tang. You're looking for Yin? Mrs. Tang didn't know who Zhao Fafa was, so she was a little scared. Why are you looking for her? Ask her to come out. Zhao Fafa was confident with Uncle Zhu by his side. He humphed. Hurry up, or don't blame me for tearing down your house. Tang Yun heard the quarrel in the living room and quickly walked out. She frowned when she saw Zhao Fafa making a scene in the house. It's you? Tang Yun, where's your boyfriend? Find him and bring him here to die quickly. Motherfucker, how dare he humiliate me last time? I'll teach him a lesson this time. Zhao Fafa saw that Tang Yun was here, but he wasn't in a rush to flirt with her. His main purpose was to teach Lin Yi a lesson. As long as he made Lin Yi submit, getting Tang Yun would be a piece of cake. Chapter 1408. Humph, he's not coming? Then don't blame me for being impolite. If he doesn't come, I'll take you away by force. Zhao Fafa laughed coldly. Tang Yun, since your boyfriend doesn't want you anymore, you can follow me. Is there something wrong with you? Tang Yun didn't expect Zhao Fafa to be so shameless, but Lin Yi wasn't home. Tang Yun couldn't call Lin Yi and disturb him. He was doing something important. How could she disturb him? Little girl, this old man advises you to do as he says and get your boyfriend here. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. With that, Uncle Zhu swung his hand at the coffee table in Tang Yun's living room. With a loud bang, Uncle Zhu smashed the coffee table into smithereens, scaring Mrs. Tang to the point where her face turned ashen. Uncle Zhu didn't know who Tang Yun was. He didn't know that she was Lin Yi's girlfriend. Although Lin Yi injured him because of Tang Yun, Uncle Zhu had never seen her face before. The name Tang Yun sounded familiar, but he couldn't remember where he heard it. Yun, hurry up and call Lin Yi. Tell him to come here as soon as possible. If he doesn't come, the house will be torn apart. Mrs. Tang was scared. She lowered her voice and said to Tang Yun, only Lin Yi can deal with these people. Hurry up and find him. I'll try. Tang Yun didn't have a choice. She didn't expect the people around Zhao Fafa to be so fierce. According to Tang Yun's experience, this person should be a practitioner. A normal person wouldn't be able to deal with him. Tang Yun walked into her room quickly. She didn't plan to call Lin Yi. Instead, she called House Chu's villa. Meng Yao was the one who picked up the phone. Tang Yun told her about her problem and Meng Yao passed the phone to Er Gooden. Lin Yi wasn't home, so Er Gooden was the only one who could make the call. Practitioner? How about this? I'll let Wu Chintian have a look. Don't worry, Tang Yun's sis-in-law, I'll tell him now. Gooden wouldn't be able to go by himself. He'd used up all his strength, and the poison in his body was on the verge of exploding. It was hard enough for him to live a normal life, let alone fight people. After hanging up, Gooden went to find Chintian. Wu Chintian, Tang Yun's sis-in-law, is in some trouble. A servant brought a practitioner to cause trouble. Can you go take a look? Of course, no problem. Leave it to me. Chintian patted his chest. Boss's business is my business, and boss's wife's business is my business as well. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. He's just a practitioner brought by a servant. He's probably not a master. I'll deal with him. Be careful. If you can't handle it, don't force it. When Faubert comes back, I'll send him to help. Gooden said. Faubert went to pick up Chu Pingzhan after sending Meng Yao, Yushu, and Tang Yun from school, so he wasn't home now. Okay, boss, just watch me. Chintian finally had a chance to work for Gooden, and naturally, he was very enthusiastic. He treated this as a test from Gooden, and so he rushed to Tang Yun's house after receiving the order. Chintian rushed into the house and saw Tang Yun and Mrs. Tang standing anxiously in the living room. On the other side, there was an old man and a young master-looking man. Both of them looked like they had everything under control. Tang Yun's sis-in-law, I'm here. These two bastards? Chintian said to Tang Yun as soon as he entered the room. Are they the fuckers? Kid, who are you? Zhao Fafa froze when he saw that it wasn't Lin Yi, but another young man. Tang Yun, you changed boyfriends? Are you retarded? I've already called her sis-in-law. Don't you know who I am? Chintian laughed and looked at Zhao Fafa as if he was looking at an idiot. You're that bastard's young master, right? I'll give you a chance now. Apologize to Tang Yun's sis-in-law, or the consequences will be severe. Zhao Fafa blushed. He didn't hear Chintian's words clearly and mistook him as Tang Yun's new boyfriend, but he was thick-skinned and didn't say anything. Who do you think you are? Severe consequences? You're bluffing, right? Humph. Chintian humphed coldly and turned his head. He saw a copper wall lamp in front of Tang Yun's house, and he pulled it down. He then casually pinched the base of the lamp, and the shape changed. See? I'll pinch your head, and it'll explode. Golden Class Early Phase Physical Practitioner. Uncle Zhu's face froze. He didn't expect this person to be a practitioner as well. Although he was only early phase, he wasn't simple. There were masters like this in the common world? Old man, you have good eyesight. Since that's the case, why don't you get the hell out of here? Chintian said proudly. Tang Yun was speechless. Was this Chintian here to save the day or to destroy the place? Uncle Zhu smashed a coffee table, and Chintian pulled down the lamp on the wall. But thinking that Chintian was doing this out of goodwill, Tang Yun couldn't say anything. Ignorant kid. Do you think you're strong because you're an early phase golden class master? You've just stepped into the door of a practitioner. Don't overestimate yourself. Uncle Zhu had a mocking look on his face after hearing Chintian's words. I used to be a mystic early phase peak, but now that I'm injured, my strength has dropped to golden class. But even so, you're still no match for me. Mystic class? You're a mystic? Are you kidding me? Chintian laughed after hearing Uncle Zhu's words. Since that's the case, let me test your strength. With that, Chintian threw a punch at Uncle Zhu. He was an expert in kung fu, and his iron hands were as hard as steel. Even his fist was as hard as steel. Uncle Zhu didn't think that Chintian would attack him without any warning at all. Uncle Zhu didn't finish what he wanted to say. He wanted to test Chintian's background, but before he could ask, Chintian started fighting. Chapter 1409. Uncle Zhu was about to explode. Even if his strength dropped to golden class, he felt that he should still be a golden class mid-phase master. Although it wasn't very stable, he should still be much stronger than Chintian, who had just started. Plus, he was a mystic before, so he should be much stronger than this guy in front of him. But it was precisely because he was so much stronger that Uncle Zhu realized that he had failed miserably. That made him even angrier. You're asking for it, kid. Uncle Zhu channeled his practitioner's arts, preparing to attack Chen Tian. Chen Tian's punch had landed squarely on Uncle Zhu's body, causing him serious internal injuries. It was a great humiliation to him. Chen Tian was startled. He didn't think that the old man in front of him was really a golden class, and he had the strength of a golden class mid-phase at that. He had thought that Uncle Zhu was just a braggart who knew some secrets about practitioners, but he didn't think that Uncle Zhu was actually this strong. Old man, you really are a golden class mid-phase master. Chen Tian was a bit arrogant, but he didn't dare to be careless in the face of such absolute strength. In the path of practitioners, strength was strength, and arrogance wasn't something that could be won. So, Chen Tian subconsciously took a step back. Even so, Uncle Zhu was fast, and his fist was already at Chen Tian's chest. Chen Tian saw that he couldn't dodge, and his body was already against the wall. He had no choice but to raise his fist and meet Uncle Zhu's fist head-on. Bam! The two collided, and a loud sound rang out. Chen Tian's fists were unparalleled, but in front of Uncle Zhu, who was stronger than him, his fist still hurt from the impact. If it weren't for the fact that he practiced hand techniques, his hand would have been crippled by Uncle Zhu. Uncle Zhu was a spiritual practitioner, and he had an advantage over physical practitioners. Even if he was at the same level as Chen Tian, he could still be stronger than Chen Tian, let alone a middle phase master. Ha! Your hand is actually fine? Uncle Zhu's original plan was to cripple Chen Tian's arm even if he couldn't hit him. Chen Tian had heavily injured him earlier, and his chi and blood were in a mess. He was furious and used all of his strength in this punch, but it didn't do anything to Chen Tian. Hey, old thing, you haven't eaten your fill, have you? My hand is naturally fine. Chen Tian wasn't dumb enough to say that his main training was his hands. Wouldn't that be exposing his weakness? It was fine if it was someone weaker than him, but he didn't dare say it to someone stronger than him. Hand over your life. Uncle Zhu's eyes were red from Chen Tian's words, and he used all his chi to attack Chen Tian. He knew that Chen Tian's attack had greatly damaged his strength, and he could have easily taken out this early phase golden class junior, but he didn't expect that he would get injured. He couldn't use his full strength anymore, and he had to end the battle as soon as possible before his injuries flared up. Chen Tian didn't dare to fight head-on. He turned and ran the moment Uncle Zhu opened his mouth. However, the difference in strength between the two was too big. Uncle Zhu was a golden class master who had fallen from mystic class, and he had more experience and strength than normal golden class masters. How could Chen Tian, who had just started his training, be his opponent? The sneak attack was just a surprise attack, and it was almost impossible for him to hit Uncle Zhu now. Not to mention fighting, even if Chen Tian wanted to run, it wouldn't be that easy. Seeing that Uncle Zhu was catching up, Chen Tian hesitated. If he quickened his pace, he would reach Tang Yun's house soon. He believed that Uncle Zhu wouldn't chase him if he ran out of the house. After all, Zhao Fafa was still in the house, and Uncle Zhu wouldn't leave him behind. But if he ran away, what would happen to Tang Yun? This was a mission given to him by his boss, and he had to protect Tang Yun. With that thought, Chen Tian gritted his teeth. Since he had recognized her as his boss, running away now would be a huge crime. How would House Wu's reputation go? He was the young master of House Wu, and his every word and action represented House Wu. If he ran away now, he wouldn't have the face to show his face anymore. Especially since Chen Tian was someone who cared about his face, he wouldn't do something like this. And so, Chen Tian stopped running. His fists turned into palms, and he stood on the spot, ready to fight head-on with Uncle Zhu. As long as he could stall for time until Faubert arrived, everything would be fine. Faubert was a golden class late phase peak master, and it shouldn't be a problem for him to fight Uncle Zhu. He just needed to hold on for a while. Come on, old man, have a taste of Grandpa Wu's Titan palm. Chen Tian said as he raised his palms up high. Die! Uncle Zhu didn't think that Chen Tian would take the initiative to fight, and he was even angrier. This kid didn't respect him at all. Uncle Zhu felt wronged. Before he dropped his level, he only needed one punch to defeat a golden class early phase master like Chen Tian. They weren't on the same level at all. But now, after fighting for so long, there was no result, and this kid was laughing at him. Uncle Zhu rushed towards Chen Tian and raised his palms. This time, he gathered all his chi into his palms, and his goal was to kill Chen Tian in one hit. Boom! Chen Tian's palms collided with Uncle Zhu's. Even though Chen Tian practiced iron fist arts, he was still sent flying by Uncle Zhu's powerful qi, crashing into Tang Yun's house's security door. The door was deformed from the impact. Chen Tian spat out a mouthful of blood as he fell from the door. His face was pale, and the shirt on his chest was dyed red with blood. Chen Tian's hand was fine, and it wasn't damaged by Uncle Zhu, but Chen Tian's body was heavily injured. His organs were all dislocated, and his meridians were mostly destroyed. But, even though Chen Tian was heavily injured, Uncle Zhu wasn't in a good state either. He was injured by Chen Tian earlier, and now that their palms met, Chen Tian's sturdy palms rebounded some of the force back to Uncle Zhu's body, worsening his injuries. Ah! Tang Yun was shocked when she saw Chen Tian spitting out blood. Are you okay? Chapter 14:10. However, Zhao Fafa realized that Uncle Zhu's face wasn't right. It was a little too red. He was stunned and quickly shut his mouth. Uncle Zhu's face was a little red. Zhao Fafa could tell that Uncle Zhu was injured as well. Kid, you're good. You're just a golden class early phase master. Yet you managed to injure me. You even rebounded the force back to me when we clashed. What a surprise. Uncle Zhu smiled coldly. If I'm not wrong, you're Che-so? You're a physical practitioner, aren't you? Chen Tian said that his surname was Wu, and considering his kung fu, it wasn't hard for Uncle Zhu to guess Chen Tian's identity. That's right. Since you know who I am, why don't you scram? You injured me. Aren't you afraid of House Wu's revenge? Chen Tian's blood was boiling, and his body was in pain. He didn't have the strength to fight Uncle Zhu anymore, so he could only use words to scare Uncle Zhu, hoping that it would buy him some time. Ha 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 ha. Uncle Zhu heard Chen Tian's words and laughed hysterically. You're just a common world noble house. How dare you talk about revenge in front of me? House Wu, I don't care about you. Since you've pissed me off, you'll have to pay the price. Dang. With that, Uncle Zhu prepared to end Chen Tian's life. Wait. Chen Tian jumped in fright. He didn't think that his name wouldn't work. This guy wasn't afraid of House Wu's revenge at all, and he still wanted to kill him. Chen Tian sweated profusely. He didn't want to die. Wasn't this old man too cruel? He wanted to kill someone? Do you have any last words? Uncle Zhu asked faintly. He wasn't in a rush to kill Chen Tian. As far as he was concerned, Chen Tian was a dead man. There was no way he could escape from him, so it didn't matter if he killed him now or later. If you kill me, my boss will avenge me, Chen Tian said. My boss won't let you go. Chen Tian thought, Faubert, why aren't you here yet? I'm about to die, come save me. Your boss. Uncle Zhu was stunned. Who's your boss? Uncle Zhu. This kid is playing word games with you. His boss is Tong Yun's boyfriend. Zhao Fafa explained and turned to Chen Tian. Don't worry, after you die, the next one will be Lin Yi. Lin Yi's my boss isn't Lin Yi. Chen Tian continued to stall for time. Ha! Uncle Zhu was stunned when he heard Lin Yi's name. What did you say? Your boss is Lin Yi? Which Lin Yi? Which other Lin Yi could it be? That Air Goodenbro's boss who killed Jean Wudi with one punch. Air Goodenbro is my boss. So naturally Lin Yi is my boss. Chen Tian said. If I die, you'll be finished. Your whole family will be finished. My boss and my boss will kill your whole family. Ugh. Uncle Zhu's face darkened. He felt his legs trembling. No way. This kid's boss was Air Gooden? The one who killed Jean Wudi with one punch? And Air Gooden's boss was Lin Yi? Why was it Lin Yi again? Uncle Zhu wanted to cry. What the fuck? Wasn't this a trap? Even Master Bing didn't dare to do anything to Lin Yi, and he was here to help Zhao Fafa and cause trouble for Lin Yi? This girl was Lin Yi's girlfriend? Right. Uncle Zhu's eyes lit up. He finally understood why the name Tang Yun was so familiar. Back then, he was beaten into a cripple and Zhao Qibing's legs were broken. Wasn't it because he provoked this Tang Yun? And now he was here again? As long as Chen Tian wasn't dead, he believed that Lin Yi wouldn't pursue the matter. But he was here to harass Tang Yun again. Someone like Lin Yi was so protective of his own people. Uncle Zhu didn't dare to think about it. What now? Scared now? Chen Tian wasn't an idiot. He could tell that Uncle Zhu was afraid of Lin Yi and Air Gooden just by looking at his face. He didn't know why, but it was a good thing. It's a misunderstanding. I've offended you before. Uncle Zhu didn't have a choice. He had to make things clear. If Lin Yi came because of this, wouldn't he be causing trouble for Master Bing? Uncle Zhu himself wasn't strong enough, so he couldn't do anything to Lin Yi. He could only lower his head. This time, it was Chen Qian's turn to be stunned. He didn't think that Guden and Lin Yi's names would be so useful. Uncle Zhu was so scared that it turned into a misunderstanding. But Chen Tian was puzzled. Didn't he know that Tang Yun was Lin Yi's girlfriend? Why did he look like he didn't know? Humph, since you know that Tang Yun-in-law is Lin Yi's girlfriend, you still dare to come? You're really not afraid of death. Chen Tian humphed coldly. I didn't know about it before. It was my fault. I'm sorry, I'll leave now. Uncle Zhu didn't dare to stay any longer. He turned around and left. Zhao Fafa was panicking. He didn't understand. Why did they give up on such a good situation? Didn't they want to kill Chen Tian and let Lin Yi die? How did it turn into a misunderstanding? What was going on? Uncle Zhu, don't go. Why are you leaving? Zhao Fafa was panicking. He quickly chased after Uncle Zhu, but Uncle Zhu didn't even look back. Zhao Fafa had no choice but to follow. If Uncle Zhu wasn't here, he wouldn't be Wu Qintian's opponent. Wouldn't he be beaten to death? Chen Tian wanted to teach Zhao Fafa a lesson, but he didn't even have the strength to get up from the ground. His body felt like it was broken. Seeing that Uncle Zhu left, he felt relieved. He spat out another mouthful of blood and fainted. Are you okay? Do you need to call the ambulance? Tang Yun saw that Chen Tian fainted and panicked. She didn't know what to do. She didn't know if other practitioners needed to go to the hospital after they got injured, but Lin Yi didn't. So she didn't know if Chen Tian should go or not. But Chen Tian had already fainted. He couldn't answer Tang Yun. Chapter 14:11. He's from our district. He wanted to chase me, but I rejected him, so he came to cause trouble. Tang Yun said simply, let's not talk about this first. I need to call Guden and ask him what should we do with this Wu Chen Tian? Tang Yun picked up her phone and was about to call Ming Yao's house number when Faubert walked in with big steps. Tang Yun, are you there? Are you okay? Did the enemy leave? Faubert. Tang Yun put down the phone when she saw Uncle Fu. Uncle Fu, Wu Qintian's injured by Uncle Zhu. Do you want to send him to the hospital? Uncle Fu's eyes lit up when he saw Uncle Fu. Faubert heard Tang Yun's words and quickly walked over. He bent down and checked Chen Tian's injury, frowning. It would be great if Lily was here, but he isn't, so we can only send him to the hospital first. I'll drive him there now. Do you want to come with me? Tang Yun nodded. Wu Qintian was injured because of her. Naturally, she wouldn't just ignore him. Tang Yun quickly changed her shoes and said to her mother, Mom, you stay at home and ask the management to fix the door. I'll go out for a while. Tang Yun wasn't worried that Uncle Zhu and the others would come back. Since they ran away after hearing Lin Yi's name, it was obvious that they wouldn't come back. But what happened today made Tang Yun a little depressed. Zhao Fafa didn't know how strong Lin Yi was, but the helper he invited, Uncle Zhu, was very afraid of Lin Yi. He ran away after hearing Lin Yi's name, as if he was afraid that Lin Yi would come to him. If that was the case, Tang Yun should have told Uncle Zhu about Lin Yi's name earlier. How could she let Chen Tian get injured? But how would she know that Zhao Fafa didn't tell Uncle Zhu about Lin Yi's name? On the way to the hospital, Tang Yun told Faubert what happened. Faubert nodded and sighed. So it's Uncle Zhu. He's the bodyguard that Lin Yi injured. It was because of the demolition of your house that Lin Yi did it. Ah, it's him. No wonder he's so scared of Lin Yi. Tang Yun realized. When I came here before, I saw two people coming out of your unit, got into a Ferrari sports car and left. It turned out to be the two of them. If I knew this, I would have stopped them. Faubert said. There's no need for that. Now that Lin Yi isn't home, it's better to avoid trouble. Let's wait for Lin Yi to come back first. Tang Yun didn't want to cause trouble when Lin Yi wasn't home. All right, we'll wait for Lin Yi to come back. Faubert nodded. Chen Tian's injuries were all internal. Chen Tian was a physical practitioner, and his meridians were of little use, but it would still affect his strength a little. Even if his injuries were healed, he wouldn't be able to return to his previous strength. Plus, his organs were all injured, and it wasn't something that could be healed in a short amount of time. According to normal treatment, he'd have to stay in bed for at least a year. However, Chen Tian's life wasn't in danger at the moment. This made Faubert and Tang Yun let out a sigh of relief. Chen Tian hadn't woken up yet, but he was out of danger. This way, they could just wait for Lin Yi to come back and treat his other injuries. However, the two bodyguards at home were injured. The situation was quite serious. Faubert had to be more careful in protecting Meng Yao and the others. He had to hold on until Lin Yi came back. It had only been 3 days since the bank robbery and the jewelry store robbery in Songshan, and now another shocking robbery had occurred. Another bank was robbed. The modus operandi was the same as before. It was a one-sided robbery with violence. The robber was still alone. After entering the bank, he did not say a word. He directly broke the counter window and jumped in to rob the bank. Then, he used violence to destroy the safety deposit box and took away the cash and foreign currency inside. The robbery method was very fast. The whole process was very short. In just a few minutes, the bank was emptied and the robber left the bank in a hurry. By the time the police arrived at the scene, the robber was long gone. This kind of method wasn't common. In the past, robbers always worked in groups. The first thing they did after entering the bank was to take hostages and threaten the bank staff to open the safety deposit box for them. This way, they would waste a lot of time and give the police enough time to get to the scene. But this robber's speed was shockingly fast. There was no hesitation at all. Ling Shan didn't think that she'd run into such a big case as soon as she got back to the police station. What gave her a headache was that Lu Wangli told her that there were 2 other robberies that happened before, and the method was exactly the same. At first, Ling Shan was very happy that she had arrested Old He, Old Kang, James, and Old Hao's men around the tomb. This case wasn't perfect, but it was done smoothly. The suspects were all arrested, and this was a great achievement. But Ling Shan didn't even get the chance to rejoice when trouble came one after another. 3 robberies in such a short period of time. This drove Ling Shan crazy. Just who was this person? How could they be so daring, committing crimes consecutively? Yu Tian and Ling Shan returned to the police station together. They had planned to discuss the interrogation of the suspects, but now it seemed like they wouldn't be able to discuss it anytime soon. Yu Tian sighed as he saw Ling Shan's frown. Ling Shan, don't give yourself too much pressure. The robberies have already happened. There's no use worrying about it. We can only try our best to find clues. But from the looks of it, this person is definitely a practitioner as well. Yeah, it has to be a practitioner. This makes it harder to solve the case. Ling Shan said. Almost all the practitioners in Songshan have records here. I'm afraid we'll have to contact Feng Tianlong for help. This is a bit beyond our capabilities. That's right, if the suspect really is a practitioner, then we'll have to talk to the Secret Investigation Department and get them to send help. Yu Tian nodded. Let's talk about the tomb first. Chapter 14:12. But at that moment, a knock came from Ling Shan's office door. Come in. Ling Shan didn't think much of it. She thought it was her subordinate reporting on the progress of the investigation. But the person who opened the door wasn't one of Ling Shan's subordinates, but Yu Feng from House Yu. Ling Shan, I heard from the guard downstairs that you're back today, so I bought some good food to celebrate. Congratulations on your successful mission. Yu Feng walked in with a smile on his face. In his hand was a bag filled with all sorts of delicious food. In fact, Yu Feng had been coming to look for Ling Shan quite a bit recently, but the guard said that Ling Shan wasn't back yet. So, Yu Feng came here every day to see if Ling Shan was back or not. The heavens didn't disappoint the hardworking, and Yu Feng quickly bought a bunch of good food to celebrate with Ling Shan, as well as to get closer to her. The noble house meeting was just around the corner, and seeing that House Xiao had the support of the hidden House Pai, House Yu's position was in danger. Yu Feng knew that he had to get some support for his house in order to stand firm in the noble house meeting. Ling Shan didn't expect it to be Yu Feng, she frowned. What the hell was this guy doing? She'd only been back for half a day, and he was already at her doorstep. Ling Shan was quite troubled. Ling Shan looked at Yu Feng. Why are you here? What's up? Didn't I tell you? I'm here to celebrate your successful mission. Yu Feng smiled. This case is closed, so you don't have anything to do now, right? You can go on a date with me now, right? You know that my father and Grandpa Song both want us to get closer. Who told you I don't have anything to do? Haven't you been watching TV lately? There's been a lot of robberies, and I need to hurry up and study the case. If you don't have anything to do, please go back. I need to work. Ling Shan said. Wah! Yu Feng paused, remembering that the news did report on the recent robberies in Songshan, but it didn't have much to do with him, so he didn't think much of it. But now that Ling Shan was talking about it, he realized that it had something to do with Ling Shan. This person was too wicked. Why did he have to rob others for no reason? If he found out who did it, he would definitely beat him into a cripple. Yu Feng cursed the robbers inwardly. Weren't they ruining his good fortune? If you needed money, you could have gone somewhere else. Why did you come to Ling Shan's turf? Are you purposely trying to mess with me? If that's the case. But we can't make an empty stomach. We can't not eat, right? It's almost time for dinner. It won't be too late to have a meal first before discussing the case, right? Yu Feng continued to persuade. No, it's not too late to eat after I finish studying the case. You eat first. Ling Shan said faintly and turned to Yu Tian. Let's continue our discussion. Ahem. Yu Feng felt a wave of annoyance. Why was this colleague of Ling Shan so blind? He'd already said that, and this guy was still sitting there as if nothing had happened. Why didn't he realize that he was a third wheel? Yu Feng coughed and hinted, it's time to get off work. Even if you're working overtime, you should at least eat first, right? Plus, even if you don't eat, your colleague has to eat, right? You can't let them go hungry, can you? It's fine, I'm not hungry. Yu Tian said cooperatively. He knew that Ling Shan hated Yu Feng and didn't want to be with him. Naturally, he'd help her. Chen Yutian's words infuriated Yu Feng. Are you an idiot or what? What's wrong with you? It was such an obvious hint, and he couldn't tell? Yu Feng didn't know what to do. Mister, I'm going to have dinner with my girlfriend. You go eat first, okay? Your girlfriend. Yu Tian couldn't help but frown. He didn't want to get involved in this. After all, Ling Shan wasn't his girlfriend, and he didn't have the right to interfere. But Yu Feng's words were getting more and more out of hand, and he couldn't take it anymore. Ling Shan wasn't his girlfriend, but she was his sister. She was very important to him, and he could accept her being with someone she liked. As long as Ling Shan was happy, he wouldn't say anything. But Yu Tian wouldn't allow someone she didn't like to harass her. If it was before, Chen Yutian wouldn't have dared to challenge Yu Feng. After all, Yu Feng was a mystic class master, and he was only an early phase golden class master. The difference between the two was like heaven and earth. But now it was different. Both of them were mystic class masters, and Chen Yutian had more confidence in his words. Naturally, Ling Shan, what's wrong with this colleague of yours? Why's he sticking his nose into other people's business? Yu Feng really wanted to slap Yu Tian away, but for Ling Shan's sake, he didn't do anything. He only scolded Yu Tian a little. I can ignore other people's business, but Lil Sis Ling Shan's business, I have to. Yu Tian was pissed off by Yu Feng's arrogant attitude. He stood up and looked at Yu Feng coldly. Yu Feng, is it? As a man, you need to have a backbone. She doesn't like you, and you're still following her around? What's the meaning of this? Do you think there's a point in doing this? Who do you think you are? Yu Feng didn't think that this guy in front of him would call Ling Shan Lil Sis, and say that he had to stick his nose in other people's business, and even say that he needed to have a backbone and stop harassing her. Who did he think he was? How dare he yell in front of him? If it weren't for Ling Shan, Yu Feng would have punched him already. My name is Chen Yutian. Yu Tian reached out his hand. I'm sure you've heard of my name. Ha! Yu Feng looked at Yu Tian's hand, not intending to shake it at all. Instead, he started laughing. I was wondering who it was. So it's House Chen's little bastard. It's hard to say if your House Chen can keep its position in the Noble House meeting, and you still dare to show off? Early phase golden class? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if you've leveled up recently. Perhaps you're already a peak early phase golden class now. Yu Feng, watch your words. Is the heir of House Yu like you? Yu Tian retracted his hand. He was a little angry at Yu Feng's attitude. Chapter 14:13. I'll talk to different people. How do you expect me to talk to a fallen noble house? Yu Feng looked at Yu Tian with disdain. I'll be honest with you. If it weren't for your girl's engagement with an ancient sect, House Chen would have been removed from the noble house list a long time ago. But we don't even know if that engagement is real or fake. There's been no news for so long. I'm afraid it doesn't count anymore. Yuqian's face turned ugly, but what Yufeng said was the truth. Of course it was the past. Yuqian indeed couldn't hold up the Chen house back then. He spent his time with Jiang Wen and the others, having fun and being called one of the Song's Han young masters, but it was all too late. He'd missed the best age for practicing, seeing Ling Shan step by step into the ranks of practitioners while Yuqian was stuck at the same spot. He decided to go out and train, going to the border and fighting with some smugglers and drug dealers, trying to ignite his potential. But because of his age, Yuqian didn't make any progress, until he met instructor Eagle. It was a training, and it was said that the investigation department spent a lot of effort to invite Eagle to be their instructor. It was because of Eagle that Yuqian found the path of practicing and became a golden class early phase. However, even though he became a golden class master, he knew that he was still too weak. His current strength wasn't enough to support the entire House Chen. Many of the big boss's bodyguards were golden class masters, but Chen Yuqian had no other choice. He could only work hard and improve his cultivation at the same time. He understood that if it weren't for his sister's engagement, House Chen wouldn't be where it was today. But even Yuqian himself didn't believe in this engagement, let alone others. After so many years without any news, Chen Yuqian even thought that Grandpa purposely set up a maze for House Chen's development. Otherwise, why would an ancient sect like his little sister who was still in her infant years ago? It didn't make sense at all. Yufeng, don't go too far. Chen Yuqian said coldly, if we don't get along, then you can leave. I still have work to discuss with Ling Shan sis. Drive me away? Right, I suddenly remembered a rumor. Chen Yuqian, aren't you Ling Shan's pursuer? You've been chasing after him for so many years, but you still haven't caught up. What's wrong? Are you afraid that I'll beat you to it? Yufeng humphed mockingly. But Yuqian, let me tell you, Ling Shan and I are engaged by our families. You can't. There's nothing for you to do here. Hurry up and scram. Don't force me to chase you away. First of all, this is an office. I have work to discuss with Ling Shan. Chen Yuqian said. Secondly, you should be the one to leave. You said it yourself, the marriage is arranged by the family, not by Ling Shan herself. She doesn't like you, and she already has someone else in her heart. If you know what's good for you, you should just give up, in case you get rejected. It'll be embarrassing. All right, I've said what I need to say. You can do as you please. Someone in her heart. Yufeng's face darkened. You're saying that the person she's in love with is you? It's not you. Yuqian couldn't say Lin Yi for Ling Shan. Good. Very good. Yufeng looked at Yuqian, gritting his teeth and nodding. Chen Yuqian, so you're saying that you're going to stick your nose into this? Of course. Yuqian said firmly. Whether it was for Ling Shan or Lin Yi, he had to do something about it. Since they'd reached this point, he might as well settle it. Yufeng sticking to Ling Shan every day would be a problem. You think you're something, don't you? Yufeng didn't expect Yuqian to go against him. These days, Yufeng felt like he was going to die. He'd lost all his face after being pushed around by Lin Yi, and he'd even let it out when he was angry. He'd even quit school, and he hadn't had a chance to vent his anger yet. Now that Yuqian from House Chen was here, he didn't need to be polite anymore. I don't think so, I'm just trying to reason with you. I'm telling you how annoying you are right now, Yuqian said. Good, very good. Chen Yuqian, since you're like this, then don't blame me for being impolite. Today, I'll let you taste the consequences of sticking your nose in other people's business. With that, Yufeng channeled his practitioner's arts, and his qi surged out. He wasn't afraid of anything today. As far as he was concerned, it was Yuqian who'd stuck his nose into other people's business. It was normal for him to teach Yuqian a lesson. Plus, even if he beat Yuqian up, what could House Chen do? They couldn't go to House Yu, could they? Would he dare? Mystic mid-phase? Yuqian looked at Yufeng. He didn't expect him to be a mystic mid-phase already. Humph, good that you know. Yufeng smiled coldly. Chen Yuqian, you're asking for it. Don't blame me for being impolite. Yufeng, what are you doing? Ling Shan didn't expect Yufeng to channel his qi. She panicked. You want to fight? Fight? He doesn't deserve it. I'm just teaching him a lesson. Yufeng said faintly. Teach me a lesson? Haha, Do you think I'm still the Chen Yutian from before? With that, Yutian channeled his practitioner's arts, showing off his strength as a mystic early phase. Your mystic early phase? Yu Feng paused, surprised. Your mystic early phase? Haha, it's not just me, Ling Shan is mystic early phase too. What's so great about being mystic mid-phase? Yutian said faintly. Ling Shan is mystic early phase? How did you guys become mystic early phase? That's impossible. Yu Feng looked at Yutian in disbelief. That doesn't make sense. You were golden class early phase before, right? I heard that no matter how fast you level up, you can't be mystic early phase now. Ling Shan was golden class late phase peak before, but she just broke through, right? How did she break through again? Humph, there's a lot of things you don't know. Yutian said proudly as he thought of Lin Yi. Lin Yi was really his lucky star. Ever since he met him, his luck kept on increasing, and his strength increased quite a bit. Chapter 14:14. Thinking of this possibility, Yu Feng's eyes turned red as he stared at Yutian hatefully. Answer me yes or no. Yes or no. This has nothing to do with you, Yutian said. So what if I am, so what if I'm not? Yu Feng, I hope that you can face this matter. Since Ling Shan doesn't agree, then let it go. Don't be too stubborn, we're both men, and I understand your feelings, but love is something that can't be forced. Yutian consoled Yu Feng out of good intentions, but thinking of his own situation, he felt like he was in the same boat as Yu Feng, so he said a few more words. But he didn't know that his words sounded like mockery in Yu Feng's ears. Yu Feng's breathing quickened, and his expression was as if he was going to eat Chen Yutian alive. Why, Chen Yutian, go die! With that, Yu Feng acted like a madman, striking out with both fists at Yutian's chest. Yutian didn't think that Yu Feng would attack him abruptly. There was no warning at all, and this shocked him. He shouted "You!" and tried to dodge, but he was caught off guard and lost his chance. Plus, Yu Feng was a mid-phase mystic, while Yutian was just an early-phase mystic. He hadn't gotten used to his new strength yet. Naturally, he was weaker than Yu Feng by a huge margin. And so, Chen Yutian was sent flying by Yu Feng's attack without any hesitation. Bam! A loud crash sounded, and Yutian's body flew out of Ling Shan's office window. Yu Feng, are you trying to kill me? Ling Shan didn't expect Yu Feng to do this, and it was a vicious one at that. She saw that Yu Feng didn't hold back at all, and Yutian flew out of the window. How could he recover from falling from such a high floor? Although mystic class masters could walk on walls and wouldn't be harmed no matter how high they jumped from, that was only when they used their qi to protect themselves. How could Chen Yutian use his qi to protect himself in a situation like this? Yu Feng didn't expect that he would be able to send Yutian flying out of the window. He wanted to teach Chen Yutian a lesson, but he didn't want to kill him. After all, Chen Yutian was the heir of House Chen. Killing him would put House Yu in a passive position. Teaching them a lesson was normal, but killing them would make House Yu look like a tyrant. If the other noble houses formed an alliance to fight against House Yu, it'd be a huge problem. He's a profound rank Gao Iso? Plus, I wasn't trying to kill him. It was just an accident. Yu Feng pretended to be calm. After speaking, Yu Feng didn't linger and turned around to leave. Wait. You want to leave after hurting someone? Ling Shan didn't love Yutian, but the two were friends now. Yutian was injured by Yu Feng, so how could she just let it go? Although she had no control over the conflicts between the aristocratic families, but to avenge her friend, she was duty-bound. It really is the early phase of the mystic class. Yu Feng's expression froze as a trace of anger flashed across his eyes. Are you going to avenge your lover? Ling Shan didn't say anything as she channeled House Song's practitioner's arts, preparing to make Yu Feng stay. Humph. Yu Feng humphed coldly. In the end, he didn't make a move against Ling Shan. Instead, he quickly left the office. Ling Shan couldn't stop him if he wanted to run. Looking at Yu Feng's back, Ling Shan was troubled, but there was nothing she could do. This matter could only be resolved in the noble house meeting. Noble houses had their own rules, and their conflicts had to be resolved in the noble house meeting. The secret investigation department could also mediate conflicts, but that was all they could do. This was also why Gong Gao didn't give Feng Tianlong any face back then. But the noble house meeting was hosted by House Yu, and Ling Shan felt that there was little hope of reporting House Yu during the noble house meeting. Ling Shan didn't chase after Yu Feng. She knew that she couldn't catch up. Mystic Early Phase and Mystic Mid Phase were 2 ranks apart, and they weren't even on the same level. She rushed downstairs, and there were already many people surrounding Yu Tian. Many of them knew him, since he often went on missions with the police. Ling Shan rushed over and saw Yu Tian covered in blood. "Yu Tian bro, how are you?" Ling Shan panicked at the sight of his pitiful state. Even someone as strong as Ling Shan felt the urge to cry. Yu Tian was simply too pitiful. His chest was covered in blood, and both his legs were fractured, exposing his white bones. It was a frightening sight. "I'm fine." Yu Tian smiled bitterly and said weakly, "I can still hold on." Chen Yu Tian showed his strong side at this moment. He was a real man. "Wait here, I'll call the ambulance," Ling Shan said as she took out her phone to call the emergency center. "Captain Song, we've already called the emergency center," one of Ling Shan's colleagues said. "Ah, okay, thank you," Ling Shan said quickly. A lot of people wanted to know who hurt Yu Tian like this, but seeing Ling Shan's sad face, they didn't ask. They wanted to wait for Yu Tian to go to the hospital first. Chen Yu Tian knew that his injuries weren't life-threatening, but he knew that he had internal injuries. Most of the meridians in his body were broken by Yu Feng, especially when he fell from the building. Even if he recovered, the meridians in his legs wouldn't be able to recover. It would be hard for him to break through in the future, and even if he could cultivate, he wouldn't be able to maintain his mystic class early phase anymore. But Yu Tian didn't regret it. He didn't want to be a coward. He had to talk to Yu Feng about this, and this time, Yu Feng had hit him. The marriage between him and Ling Shan would probably be cancelled as well. House Yu would be in the wrong, and they wouldn't continue this. But what would happen to House Chen? What would they do in the future? An ambulance siren sounded, and Chen Yutian was carried into the ambulance. At this moment, Chen Yutian's consciousness started to blur. House Chen's future and his dreams were intertwined, and it made Yutian feel sad and lost. He was supposed to be a mystic early phase with a bright future, but now he was crippled. Would his grandpa be sad if he knew about this? Chapter 14-15. This morning, Chen Yutian had just told his grandpa the good news, telling him that he had reached the early phase of mystic class. His grandpa was so happy that his voice changed, but in the blink of an eye, he became a cripple again. How was he going to tell his grandpa? Chen Yutian closed his eyes slowly and fainted after thinking about these troublesome things. Yu Feng didn't leave immediately. He stood not far from the police station and watched Chen Yutian get carried into the ambulance. He let out a sigh of relief. It seemed like Chen Yutian didn't die, but he was heavily injured. This was what Yu Feng wanted to see. If Chen Yutian died, then House Yu would be in a passive position. Although House Yu was domineering, as the host of the noble house meeting, they had power that other noble houses didn't have. But if they attacked other noble houses recklessly, then no matter how strong House Yu was, they wouldn't be able to withstand the retaliation of other noble houses. But now, there was no problem. As long as Chen Yutian didn't die, everything would be fine. Even if they brought this up in the noble house meeting, it would be a battle between the younger generation. If you were injured because you weren't strong enough, who could you blame? So, Yu Feng's responsibility was much smaller. Although House Chen was angry, they couldn't do anything to House Yu. If you're so capable, come and get revenge. This was the rule of the noble houses. If you're not satisfied, then fine. You can challenge any of your enemies in the noble house meeting. Besides, the challenge in the noble house meeting didn't care about life and death. If you're capable, you can kill your opponent, but on the other hand, your opponent can kill you too. This was the same as signing a life and death contract in the arena. The host of the meeting wouldn't favor either side. If you're capable, you can solve it yourselves. After you're done, you can sit down and have a meeting. But as the saying goes, every debt has its debtor. Whoever has the grudge, they can't ask for outside help. In other words, if the Chen family was bullied, then if you wanted to get back at them, it had to be someone from the Chen family. If you were a disciple of the Chen family or a relative, that was fine. But if you found outside help, it was absolutely impossible. In fact, this rule was to restrict House Yu. House Yu and the hidden House Yu had an unclear relationship. If House Yu asked for help from the hidden House Yu, then what would the others do? He could only wait for death to come. Of course, while House Yu and the hidden House Yu could be considered relatives, It wasn't a relationship that could be made public. This involved the Hidden House's Arbitration Association, and if the Hidden House U wanted to earn money, they couldn't openly admit their relationship with the Common House U. Otherwise, once they did, the Common House U would have to join the Hidden House U, unable to earn money in the common world. So with this rule, House U couldn't go to the Hidden House U to solve their conflict. When this rule was first made, House U wasn't too happy about it, but now Yu Feng saw it as the best. It was impossible for Chen Yuqian to get back at the noble house meeting. Chen Yuqian was the only cultivator in House Chen, and he was a cripple now. Challenging the noble house was the same as seeking death. Yu Feng wasn't afraid of him. Chen Yuqian, how dare you steal my woman? Why don't you take a look at who you are? What's so great about being a mystic class master? I'm already a mystic mid-phase. Crippling you is as easy as breaking a grasshopper's leg. Yu Feng said coldly as he watched the ambulance leave. But Yu Feng wasn't stupid. This incident didn't affect House Yu much, but he still had to report it to his father. Hello? Xiao Feng, what's the matter? Xueixing was practicing when his personal phone rang. Only Yu Feng and Boss Yu knew about this phone, and Xueixing didn't tell anyone else. This was an emergency phone, and unless something big happened, it wouldn't call. Father, I beat Chen Yuqian up. Yu Feng didn't bother with small talk and told his father what had happened. What? Xueixing froze. Chen Yuqian? Heavily injured? Xueixing had just woken up from his practicing state, and didn't know how to react. It's Chen Yuqian from House Chen. I beat him up, and he's probably crippled now. He won't be able to practice for the rest of his life, and even if he recovers, it'll be hard for him to progress. Yu Feng explained. Chen Yuqian from House Chen? Why did you beat him up? House Yu doesn't care about a mere House Chen, and Chen Yuqian is just a golden class. He doesn't conflict with our interests at all, and now that the noble house meeting is about to start, why are you still messing with House Chen? Aren't you just causing trouble? Xueixing's tone was displeased. Feng, why are you so impulsive? What's going on? Father, Chen Yuqian isn't a golden class, he's a mystic early phase. Yu Feng said. And so is Ling Shan. What? They're both mystic? How is that possible? Xueixing paused, not bothering about Yu Feng hurting Chen Yuqian anymore. All his attention was on the two becoming mystic. I don't know, but I suspect that they're dual practicing together. Yu Feng couldn't help but grit his teeth as he spoke. Dual practicing? You're saying that Ling Shan and Chen Yuqian are dual practicing together? Xueixing vaguely sensed something, as if he could guess why his son was so angry, hurting Chen Yuqian in a fit of rage. That's right. Yu Feng nodded. It's like this, Ling Shan just came back from a mission, and I bought some food to go to her office to celebrate her safe return, but I didn't think I'd see Chen Yuqian in her office. Yu Feng told Xueixing everything that happened after that, not adding anything to the story. He didn't think that he'd done anything wrong, and anyone else in his position wouldn't let this go so easily. After all, Ling Shan was Yu Feng's fiancée in name, and now that someone else had gotten to her first, he'd be a coward if he didn't do something about it. I see. Xueixing understood his son's feelings after hearing the explanation. So that means that Ling Shan hooked up with Chen Yuqian first? Humph, if that's the case, then you can't blame House Yu. Chapter 14:16. And it's good to let him live, Xueixing nodded. That way, House Chen can't say anything bad about me. We're all in the wrong here. Plus, if House Chen wants revenge, they can bring it up at the noble house meeting anytime they want. Someone in their family will be sad, and I'll accept it. But I don't think they'll be able to cause trouble for me anymore. Yu Feng continued. Oh. Xueixing had a flash of inspiration. That's right, Yu Feng, you did a good job. Haha, now that I think about it, this is a good chance for House Yu. Not only will it not affect us, but it'll also make people think that we've lost big time. What do you mean? Yu Feng paused. During the noble house meeting, I'm planning to cause trouble for House Chen and House Song, pushing all the blame onto them. They were engaged to House Yu to begin with, so why would they still be with House Chen? There's something wrong with House Chen's scion, hooking up with someone else's fiancé? They'll definitely be accused of not being strict, and this way, you've hurt Chen Yuqian, which means that you've hurt the adulterer. You're Ling Shan's fiancé, and catching the adulterer is the right thing to do. House Chen won't be able to say anything about this, and they'll even have to apologize to us. Haha, father, you've thought things through. This way, the Chen clan can only suffer in silence. Hearing this, Yufeng relaxed a little. He was overjoyed. That's right, plus, you've killed a mystic from House Chen before he could grow. This is a huge contribution as well. If House Chen has a mystic, it'll be a threat to House Yu's position, Shuixing said. But, the noble house meeting is around the corner, so you shouldn't stay in Songshan anymore. Go back to Yanjing immediately, and don't go out these few days. We're not afraid of them in the open, but we're afraid that House Chen will go crazy and hire people to cause trouble for you. Don't fail miserably. All right, I'll go back now. Yufeng nodded, suddenly remembering that Yuqian's sister seemed to be quite close with Lin Yi. If this chick were to bewitch Lin Yi to cause trouble for him, then it would really be troublesome. After the meeting, Yufeng wasn't afraid of anything because the meeting was a place to resolve conflicts. The conflicts between the aristocratic families would be resolved during the meeting. If they didn't resolve it, it would be the same as giving up. There was no such thing as fighting to the death. If one of the aristocratic families brought up their past hatred after the meeting, it would be the same as violating the agreement of the meeting. Not only would they be viewed as enemies by all the aristocratic families, they would also be expelled from the ranks of the aristocratic families. Therefore, nobody would do such a thing. Yufeng boarded the flight to Yanjing, and in the hospital, Chen Yuqian was just pushed out of the emergency room. The wounds on his body and leg were all bandaged up, and he woke up as well. As a practitioner, his willpower wasn't something ordinary people could compare to. Brother Yuqian, what do you think? Ling Shan was anxiously waiting at the door of the surgery room. She went up to Yuqian as soon as he came out. Ling Shan, I'm fine. Yuqian saw how worried Ling Shan was. He felt a little touched, but also a little bitter. He knew that Ling Shan cared for him as a friend, but there were no other emotions involved. Yuqian bro. You didn't have to do that. Ling Shan sighed. Yuqian said that he was fine, but looking at his bitter smile, Ling Shan knew that it wasn't a light injury. He was a spiritual practitioner, and if his meridians were injured, it would be the same as crippling his path of practitioning. He wouldn't be able to progress any further on the path of practitioning. Even if Chen Yuqian recovered, he wouldn't be able to maintain his strength anymore. It was already a miracle that he was able to stay at the golden class. It was almost impossible for him to break through to the mystic class, unless he had the legendary meridian opening pellet. However, that was something only the hidden houses had. Normal houses didn't have it. Ling Shan, I've been a man for once. Yuqian couldn't help but say proudly, although I'm injured, I'm afraid that Yufeng won't bother you anymore. It's worth it. Thank you. Ling Shan murmured, Yuqian bro, you're a good person, but you can't force feelings. Logically speaking, Yuqian had done so much for her, and Ling Shan had to do something for him. But Ling Shan really didn't have any feelings for Yuqian. She decided to make it up to him in other ways. I know. Yuqian interrupted Ling Shan. He knew that Ling Shan was giving him a good person card, but Yuqian didn't dwell on it anymore. Ling Shan, let's not talk about that. Lin Yi is my friend, and you could say that he's my master. My strength comes from him, and it doesn't matter if I lose him. Even if I'm only golden class after I recover, it's still not bad. Yuqian wasn't worried about himself, but House Chen. He was injured so badly this time, and House Chen was probably done for. But House Chen, Grandpa Chen. Ling Shan was conflicted. Yuqian didn't say it, but she knew that House Chen would be done for in the future. They would be removed from the list of noble houses. The only way was for House Song and House Chen to unite through marriage. That was the only way to keep House Chen's position, but Ling Shan really couldn't accept that. Sigh. That's the only thing I'm worried about. Disappointment flashed across Yuqian's eyes. I wonder how sad Grandpa will be when he finds out about me. I told him that I advanced to the early phase of mystic class, and he laughed for 3 whole minutes. Other than the meridian opening pill, is there any other way to recover your strength? Ling Shan made up her mind. If there was, no matter what price she had to pay, she would find a way to help Yuqian recover his strength. Chapter 14:17. Yuqian bro, don't worry, I'll go find House Sun. I heard that Sun Jingyi is in Songshan, I'll try with her. Ling Shan had made up her mind. No matter what, she had to convince Sun Jingyi to heal Yuqian. Okay, but don't force yourself if it doesn't work, Yuqian said. Ling Shan, I want to rest for a while. All right. I'll be heading out first then. Ling Shan nodded, not wanting to disturb Yutian anymore, and turned to leave. Yutian, on the other hand, took out his phone and called his grandpa after Ling Shan left. Yutian, why are you calling grandpa again? Did you break through again? Old Master Chen couldn't help but be happy these few days. It was really like the saying, he would smile even in his dreams. Yutian broke through to the early phase of mystic class, and House Chen had hope. They didn't need that ancient sex marriage to maintain their position anymore. And so, Grandpa Chen joked with Yutian. Naturally, he knew that Yutian wouldn't be able to break through again in such a short period of time, but joking wasn't a big deal. Hearing his grandpa's words, Yutian's heart ached, and he almost cried out loud. He didn't know what to say, and he didn't want to ruin his grandpa's good mood. His grandpa's mind was probably filled with the beautiful future of House Chen. Grandpa Chen paused when he didn't hear anything from Yutian. Yutian, what's wrong? Grandpa, Yutian's words were stuck in his throat like a fishbone, and he couldn't speak. Yutian, what's wrong? Don't scare Grandpa. Grandpa Chen sensed that something was wrong with Yutian's tone and quickly asked. Grandpa, I lost my strength. I'm injured, and my meridians are broken. Yutian gritted his teeth and said in one breath, I'm lying in the hospital now, and both my legs are broken. What? Hearing Yutian's words, Grandpa Chen jumped up from his chair in shock. He almost threw the phone in his hand. However, after he stood up, he felt dizzy as if he had been struck by lightning. He couldn't even stand straight and fell back onto the chair. Yutian, what did you say? You were injured? Who hurt you? How could he be so vicious? Grandpa Chen was someone who had been through a lot. Although he was shocked, he wasn't at a loss. He had to figure out the whole story. Grandpa, calm down. Yutian sighed. It's like this. Yutian told Old Chen everything, not hiding anything. Old Chen knew about his feelings for Ling Shan, so it wasn't strange for him to do something like this. You're saying that you did this for Ling Shan and Lin Yi, right? Old Chen sighed after hearing Yutian's words. Logically speaking, what you did was right. A man should do what he shouldn't, and Lin Yi helped you improve your strength. Helping him out is what you should do, but you should know that you should do what you can. You were too impulsive. Elder Chen didn't blame Chen Yutian too much after knowing the whole story. After all, there was nothing wrong with what he did. However, the consequences of his actions were too huge. Chen Yutian was originally House Chen's hope, but now, his hope was completely destroyed, and he even started a feud with House Yu. With old Chen's wisdom, it wasn't hard to guess Shuixing's reaction. Shuixing would probably bite back at him. Old Chen knew about Ling Shan and Yu Feng's engagement as well. He'd called Yutian back then, but Yutian had already given up, so he didn't ask much. What he didn't know was that there was more to it than meets the eye. Ling Shan liked Lin Yi. Lin Yi's name wasn't unfamiliar to Old Chen. When Lin Yi first entered House Chu's villa and became Miss Chu's bodyguard, Old Chen knew about Lin Yi's existence. But Lin Yi wasn't enough to enter Old Chen's eyes, so he didn't pay much attention to a bodyguard like Lin Yi until Lin Yi became more and more conspicuous. He attacked House Yu, House Zhao, and even offended the Shao family, the Golden Clock sect, and the Hidden House Pai. It could be said that he'd offended all the powers he could afford to offend, and Elder Chen's scalp was going numb just by looking at it. Offending just one of them would be enough to get him into trouble, let alone all of them. But not only did Lin Yi not get into trouble, he was living a better life than anyone else. Better than anyone else. Better than any of them. Old Man Chen was puzzled. How could this person be fine after offending so many forces? It didn't make sense. On the other hand, the forces that Lin Yi offended all quieted down and disappeared. Until recently, 2 masters from the Hidden House Pai died, and the Earth class of the Golden Clock sect was killed by Lin Yi's follower. Old Chen was shocked. So Lin Yi was this strong. He was just a small bodyguard. Someone like a follower. Old Chen didn't put him in his eyes, but he realized that he was blind. He didn't expect Peng Zhan to be able to invite such a strong person. It was unbelievable. Although Yutian didn't say how Lin Yi increased his strength, no matter how he did it, this ability was even more shocking. While Old Chen was shocked, he started guessing Lin Yi's background. Could this Lin Yi be from an ancient sect? But, even if it was an ancient sect, he had never heard of anyone who could increase someone's strength so quickly. Lin Yi was only a mystic mid-phase peak, but he could turn someone into an early phase mystic class, and two at once. This was shocking. However, it had nothing to do with old Chen. No matter how strong Lin Yi was, he wasn't a part of House Chen. He only cared about Yu Tian and House Chen's future. Grandpa, I'm sorry. Yu Tian knew his grandpa's pain. Wasn't he in pain as well? But what had happened couldn't be changed. Chapter 14:18. Grandpa. There's something I don't know if I should say. Chen Yutian said after a moment of silence. House Chen was on the brink of life and death. There were some words that Chen Yutian had to say. Otherwise, House Chen would be finished. What is it? Yutian, what else can't you say? Grandpa Chen sighed. It's not impossible for House Chen to grow and advance further. Chen Yutian said, the key is if we dare to take the gamble. What hope? Grandpa Chen heard Chen Yutian's words as if he had found a life-saving straw. He was energized and asked quickly. Let Shu marry Lin Yi. Chen Yutian said, I can see that Shu likes Lin Yi and Lin Yi treats Shu well, at least better than Ling Shan. Although it's a bit unfair to Ling Shan, she doesn't care how many girlfriends Lin Yi has. She's from a noble house, so it shouldn't be a problem. What? Grandpa Chen froze. Let Shu marry Lin Yi? That can't be done. Why? Chen Yutian froze and said hurriedly, with Lin Yi joining our house, we can stand firm in the noble house meeting. Even House you can't do anything to us. Besides, Lin Yi can give Shu and even you to the early phase of mystic class. This way, House Chen can stand firm and there's no difference between having a cripple like me or not. Yutian, you should know about Shu's engagement, right? Old man Chen sighed. I know that your idea is a good one, but how would our Chen family dare to break our agreement with an ancient sect? I know a little about it, but it's been so long, so many years, and there's no news. Is the engagement still valid? Chen Yutian didn't expect his grandpa to be so resolute. If that ancient sect really wants to marry Shu, it can't be that there's no news about it after so many years, right? Besides, Shu is already 18 years old and no one has come to propose. It's most likely impossible. Sigh. Who knows? The ancient sect's way of doing things isn't something normal houses like us can guess. Although there's no news for so many years, I'm afraid that if we break the engagement and marry Shu to someone else, we won't be able to handle the wrath of the ancient sect. If they really come for revenge, wouldn't we be harming Shu? Grandpa Chen smiled bitterly. It's not that we can't do it, we just don't dare to. Chen Yutian was silent after listening to his grandpa's words. He didn't expect the ancient sect's marriage contract to be so restrictive. It was like a curse, he couldn't get rid of it no matter what. We can't contact them? Chen Yutian asked. I can't contact them. Back then, they only left behind the marriage contract and left. All these years, they haven't come back again. Grandpa Chen said helplessly. What you said really can't be done. We can't take the risk. But Shu. Chen Yutian thought of Shu and felt pity. Shu might not like this engagement. There are some things that we can't decide. Grandpa Chen said. Chapter 14:19. As the saying goes, good news doesn't go out, but bad news travels 1,000 miles. House Chen's Chen Yutian tried to steal House Yu's woman and got beaten up by Yu Feng. This news spread like wildfire, and now everyone knew that Chen Yutian seduced Yu's fiancée and got beaten up. Hence, Chen Yutian was the weak one, but no one sympathized with him. They felt that he deserved it. This was House Yu's way of doing things. They pushed all the responsibility away and made it seem like Chen Yutian was the one who deserved it. House Wu, on the other hand, was one of the weakest of the noble houses. All of them were physical practitioners, and the strongest one was only mystic mid-phase, and he had just broken through not too long ago. Especially recently, they heard that Wu Qintian had offended the Shao family's brothers. This time, as the rising star of the noble house, the Shao family would definitely accuse House Wu. Jing, what do you think? Jianghu didn't comment on Lu Tianyi and Lu Tianli's words, but looked at Lu Jinghan. Grandpa, I think that this time, House Lu is in the most danger. Lu Jinghan said after a moment of silence. Most danger. Lu Tianli and even Lu Tianyi froze, not expecting Lu Jinghan to say that. Why would you say that? Tell me the reason. Jianghu nodded, but didn't make any comments. His expression was as calm as ever. without a single ripple of emotion. When it came to House Lu, Jianghu was quite the character. He was a wise old man, always able to grasp the crux of a problem and find a way to solve it. No wonder House Lu was so happy when Jianghu found out that he had 10 more years to live. Otherwise, the two brothers, Lu Tianyi and Lu Tianli, wouldn't be able to support the whole House Lu. Lu Tianyi was calm and had a broad vision, but he wasn't smart enough. Tianli, on the other hand, was short-sighted. In business it was easy to keep the business, but it was hard to advance. The only thing that made Lu Jianhu happy was this granddaughter, but the only regret was that Lu Jinghan was only a granddaughter, not a grandson. Lu Tianyi's son was still too young. He hadn't grown up yet. He hoped that he could be like Lu Jinghan in the future. Lu Jianhu would be comforted in his old age. I have a feeling that the clan's conference this time will not be peaceful. Lu Jinghan said calmly, although the Chen family seems to have reached the point of no return, the Chen family has 2 life-saving trump cards to choose from. Lu Tianyi and Lu Tianli were both taken aback. They didn't expect House Chen to have 2 trump cards. Wasn't this a little too much? The first one is the ancient sex marriage contract. We all know about this, and although it looks like it doesn't exist anymore, the truth is that the ancient sex didn't say anything about canceling the contract, so it's still valid. Lu Jinghan said. Lu Tianyi and Lu Tianli suddenly remembered that House Chen still had this life-saving trump card. Yes, in the ancient sex, before the marriage contract was cancelled, House Chen was still an in-law of the ancient sex. Just how powerful was the ancient sex? Even the hidden houses didn't dare do anything to them, let alone the normal houses. If House Yu really did demote House Chen and kick them out of the noble house ranks, and the ancient sex came looking for trouble after that, then things would be really bad. The second one is Lin Yi. Lu Jinghan continued, this is also the trump card that I think is most likely. Lin Yi? Lin Yi and House Chen. Lu Tianyi paused. Yes, House Chen's granddaughter Yushu is Meng Yao's best friend, and she seems to have a good relationship with Lin Yi. Lin Yi's protectiveness is known to the world, and anyone who dares to touch the people around Lin Yi will either die or be crippled. Not just House Yu, even the hidden House Pai and House Zhao won't give them any face. Lu Jinghan said, if Lin Yi really intervenes in this matter, then the Chen family will probably be safe. Lin Yi? Yes, if Lin Yi interferes, then this would be much easier. Lu Tianyi nodded. What Jingjing means is that Lin Yi might interfere with House Chen's business. It's not a possibility. If Yushu says it, then it's 100%. Lu Jinghan said, as far as I know, the relationship between Yushu and Lin Yi is unbelievably good. Then House Wu. Right, I get it, it's still Lin Yi. Lu Tianyi thought through some things after Lu Jinghan's words. I heard that Wu Chintian took Lin Yi's follower as his boss, so naturally, Lin Yi wouldn't ignore House Wu's business. That's right, so the most dangerous one right now is us, House Lu. Fortunately, House Kong is on the verge of collapsing, and they've become enemies with the Xiao family. If House Kong wants to become a noble house, then the Xiao family will be the first to object. House Yu wouldn't offend the Xiao family that has the hidden House Pai's support, so House Kong isn't a big threat to us. Lu Jinghan said, but we can't let our guard down, who knows if House Yu will play some tricks? Lu Tianyi and Lu Tianli nodded in agreement. Jianghu, on the other hand, spoke up as well. Do you all understand? Just do what you're supposed to do. Theoretically speaking, House Lu shouldn't be in any danger, but there are still unknowns. Still, Jingjing said that if Lin Yi really were to interfere with House Wu and House Chen's business, he might also interfere with House Lu's business. Recently, under Jingjing's suggestion, our relationship with Lin Yi is in the honeymoon stage. We understand. Lu Tianyi and Lu Tianli nodded. Now, only Elder Chen's face was a little gloomy. The noble house meeting this time was probably going to be a disaster. What should they do? But no matter what, they had to go. If they didn't go, wouldn't that mean that they were giving up on the title of a noble house? Wouldn't that be what House Yu wanted? As for Yu Tian's suggestion, Elder Chen was actually quite tempted. Letting Yushu and Lin Yi marry each other would naturally solve the crisis House Chen was in. With Lin Yi's current strength, even if House Yu was furious, they wouldn't be able to do anything to him. But the main problem now was the ancient sect. He didn't dare break off the ancient sect's engagement. Once he made the decision and betrothed Yushu to someone else, the ancient sect, he wouldn't be the only one to be blamed, Yushu would as well. Chapter 1420. After coming out of the tomb, Elder Yu rushed back to Songshan City without stopping, running faster than a rabbit. It wasn't that he was afraid that Lin Yi would come after him for the qi-gathering pill, but he realized that he was poisoned. When he was at the entrance of the tomb, Elder Yu didn't care about the arrows, but after coming out of the tomb, he felt dizzy and had red spots all over his body. With Elder Yu's experience, he knew that he was poisoned. But at first, Elder Yu didn't care and took an antidote pill. This was a medicine unique to the hidden houses, and it could cure most poisons, so he thought that he would be fine after taking it. But at night, Elder Yu realized that the red spots on his body were increasing, and not only did he feel dizzy, but he also felt nauseous. It was even more serious than before. Only then did Elder Yu realize that something wasn't right. He regretted attacking the male thief. If he didn't underestimate the strength of the male thief and his companions, he wouldn't be in this situation right now. He wouldn't have been hit by the poison arrow if he was with the male thief. After realizing that the antidote didn't work, Elder Yu didn't dare stay any longer. He quickly went back to Songshan and found a hotel to rest in before calling the hidden house Yu's housekeeper, who was in charge of contacting him. "Housekeeper Yu, I'm Yu Huaxing," Elder Yu said respectfully. "Oh, Yu Huaxing, did you finish your mission? Did you come out of the tomb? Did you get anything?" Housekeeper Yu asked. Elder Yu was disappointed. He had risked his life and almost died. Yet the hidden house Yu didn't care about his safety, but what they wanted was what they wanted. When he called, they didn't even ask about his safety, only asking if he got anything. "The tomb was too dangerous, and I was poisoned. I'm back in Songshan now, and the antidote pill doesn't work. I can't hold on much longer, Housekeeper Yu. Please send a medical expert to cure me." Elder Yu was a bit pissed, and he didn't say that he got the qi-gathering pill, only saying that he was poisoned. "Poisoned? What happened to you? How could you be so careless?" Butler Rain was stunned. "Does that mean you didn't complete the mission?" "I told you, the ancient tomb is very dangerous. Those who raided the tomb with me are basically all dead." Elder Yu was even more bitterly disappointed. It seemed like the hidden house Yu didn't even treat him, an outsider, as a member of the family. He was ordered around like a dog. "I see." Steward Yu was a little disappointed. He didn't think much of Elder Yu's ability. It's impossible for the hidden house Yu to send people to save you. Other than you being a new member of the hidden house Yu, it's not very obvious. Everyone else is recorded by the Noble House Arbitration Association. If someone were to go to the common world, they'd definitely be watched by the association. If they find out about you, we won't be able to bear the consequences. Housekeeper Yu, are you saying that you're going to give up on me? Elder Yu was getting annoyed. Wasn't this hidden house Yu a little too cruel? He was about to die trying to hide house Yu, and they were making excuses? Yu Huaxing, of course, that's not what I meant. Steward Yu sensed Elder Yu's displeasure and quickly explained. You understand the difficulties of the hidden houses. How about this? In Songshan, there's a miracle doctor, the Yao Wang of the hidden house Zhao. We, the hidden house Yu, are related to the hidden house Zhao by marriage. I'll arrange it for you. You go find him to cure the poison. Of course, he might charge you some medical fees, but there's nothing we can do about it. Just give it to them. Steward Yu knew Yao Wang's personality. This person was extremely evil. How could he not charge for medical fees? Of course, if House Yu and House Zhao negotiated directly, they might waive the medical fees, but House Yu would inevitably owe House Zhao a favor. Steward Yu didn't want to owe House Zhao a favor because of Yu Huaxing. It wasn't worth it. I understand. Elder Yu's heart was extremely troubled. He hung up the phone and took a deep breath, letting it out. He didn't want to explode. Thinking of the common house Yu, Elder Yu could only hold it in. Without the support of the hidden house Yu, the common house Yu would soon fall. Soon, Steward Yu sent him a text with Yao Wang's address. He told Yu Huaxing that he had already contacted Yao Wang, and that Elder Yu could go there directly. Elder Yu had no choice but to drag his sick body to the address on the message and head to the floating cloud bar. Fortunately, he was an Earth-class early phase master. If it were a normal person, they would be lying on the bed, unable to move, waiting for death after getting poisoned. But even so, Elder Yu almost fainted when he got to the floating cloud bar. This must be Yu Huaxing. Elder Yu. Qibing got the news from House Zhao that Yu Huaxing was coming to cure the poison, and he was extremely excited. He had Sihua push his wheelchair outside the bar, waiting for Yu Huashing's arrival. This was a big client. The head of the common house Yu. How could Qibing let go of such a good opportunity to earn money? Qibing had been very unlucky recently. He wanted to do something that would make his grandpa look at him differently, but now that Elder Yu was here, he was going to make a killing. Everyone knew that the common house Yu was rich, and Qibing came to Songshan to earn money, just like House Yu did. The only difference was that House Yu kept earning money, and Qibing kept losing money. How could Qibing be satisfied with this? In the eyes of the jealous Qibing, Yu Huashing was a treasure bowl. The common world house Yu wouldn't let him die, and now that he'd come to them, it wouldn't be Qibing's style if he didn't spend a lot of money on him. That's me. Elder Yu said weakly, "May I ask if you are young Master Zhao? Is Yaowang here? I'm poisoned, and I'm here to ask Yaowang to cure me." Facing Qibing, Elder Yu didn't dare to be careless. Although Elder Yu was a member of the Hidden House Yu, he was just a dog of the Hidden House Yu. Qibing, on the other hand, was a true disciple of House Zhao. Although he was an illegitimate child, his position was still much higher than Elder Yu's. Yaowang, of course. Elder Yu, please come in, let Yaowang treat you. Qibing smiled as he waved his hand, and Sihua and Jiaonong helped Elder Yu into the back room of the Floating Cloud Bar. Chapter 14:21. Elder Yu saw that Yaowang's body was covered with lightning rods, and he was a little surprised. But he was here to cure his illness, and he couldn't ask too much about this mysterious phenomenon. After all, masters always did things that people couldn't understand. Perhaps this was Yaowang's way of training. Yaowang and Zhao Qibing were a match made in heaven. Both of them had evil hearts. In fact, Yaowang knew that Elder Yu was poisoned the moment he felt his pulse. This poison was strong, but it wasn't a problem for Yaowang. Lin Yi could easily deal with this poison, so Yaowang didn't feel any pressure. In terms of medical skills, Yaowang wasn't any weaker than Lin Yi. The difference was that one was researching on saving people, and the other was researching on harming people and making money. This poison is very strong. It's 1,000-year-old poison. Yaowang let go of Elder Yu's wrist, his brows furrowed. This poison, it's not a normal poison, it's a poison that's been lost for a long time. I've only seen it in some ancient texts. Now, your pulse matches the poison mentioned in the ancient texts. Then, what should I do? Elder Yu jumped in fright. He'd heard of Yaowang's name before. To be able to become one of the head doctors of the Hidden House Zhao, he definitely wasn't a simple character. If he said that this poison was very strong, then wouldn't it mean that he could die easily? Thinking about this, Elder Yu was extremely depressed. He went to the tomb and almost lost his life, but the Hidden House Yu treated him coldly. It really pissed him off. It's not that there's no way. Coincidentally, when I saw this 1,000-year-old poison, I also saw the antidote. Elder Yu, you're lucky to have met me. If it were someone else, you'd just be waiting for death. Yaowang came from a hidden house, and he had quite a high position in the Hidden House Zhao, so he didn't have to be too polite when talking to Elder Yu. Ah, Yaowang, please save me. This old man will reward you handsomely. Elder Yu's face turned red upon hearing that there was hope. He quickly cupped his fists and begged. Of course. You don't have to thank me. You're from House Yu, and I'm from House Zhao. Our families are in-laws, so of course I won't refuse. Yaowang said righteously. If that's the case, thank you. Elder Yu quickly said. However, the Medicine King changed the topic and said, this poison is extremely overbearing. The medicinal ingredients for the antidote are naturally very precious. There are 1,000-year-old knotweed, 10,000-year-old snow lotus, 3,000-year-old ginseng, and other precious medicinal ingredients. The cost of these medicinal ingredients. Don't worry, this old man will bear the cost. How could I let the King of Medicine spend so much money? I can't thank you enough for helping me detoxify the poison. How can I let you pay for it? Elder Yu quickly said, how much does it cost? Not much, just 1 billion. Yaowang nodded and said. How much? Elder Yu paused, not hearing clearly. 1 billion. Yaowang repeated. Gah! Elder Yu froze, his mouth wide open, speechless. 1 billion? What kind of cosmic joke was this? 1 billion to detoxify a poison? Even if the antidote was made of diamonds, it wouldn't be worth that much. Yaowang's words shocked even Zhao Qibing. 1 billion. Yao Wang really dared to ask for that much. From what Zhao Qibing saw, 3 or 200 million was the most he could ask for, but Yao Wang was asking for so much. But Zhao Qibing liked it. Young Master Zhao, isn't the treatment fee a little too expensive? Elder Yu finally came back to his senses and said to Zhao Qibing. Elder Yu, you're wrong. Zhao Qibing waved his hand. Elder Yu, think about it, these are all precious herbs, we don't have much in stock, we're mainly keeping them for Grandpa and the masters of the house. Now that we're using so much to detoxify the poison for you, if someone in the house needs to break through, we won't be able to find them. Grandpa is about to break through Earth Class to Sky Class. You know how much we've sacrificed for House Yu. Zhao Qibing's words infuriated Elder Yu. Even if all these treasures were real, it didn't cost 1 billion. Did he think he was an idiot? It wasn't like House Yu didn't have any treasures. Although they didn't have the knotweed or the 10,000-year snow lotus, they did have treasures that were worse than this. He didn't believe that House Zhao had so many treasures. But, even if he doubted it, he couldn't do anything about it. Elder Yu's life was in their hands. He couldn't turn against House Yu. Young Master Zhao, this treatment fee is an astronomical figure to me. I don't have much money, do you think? Can you reduce it a little? Elder Yu suppressed his anger and asked. He had to ask if he really wanted to leave. He could only go back to the hotel and wait for his death. Of course. Zhao Qibing waved his hand. Elder Yu, I'll tell you the truth, it's because you're here. If it were someone else, we wouldn't be willing to sell these treasures for 1 billion. Elder Yu almost cursed. You scammed me of my money, and I have to remember your kindness? But he didn't dare. I really don't have much money. Elder Yu knew the Hidden House Yu's wealth like the back of his hand. Most of the Hidden House Yu's money was earned by the Common House Yu. How could he not know? But, how could the Hidden House Yu give him money to detoxify the poison? That phone call from before had completely disappointed Elder Yu in the Hidden House Yu. His heart was cold and his heart was cold. From his point of view, he was just a dog of the Hidden House Yu. His life and death had nothing to do with the Hidden House Yu. So, Elder Yu didn't even think about calling the Hidden House Yu for money. As for the Common House Yu, Elder Yu believed that although Yu Shuixing would definitely give him money if he asked for it, but Elder Yu knew how much the Common House Yu's wealth was. Although the Common House Yu was rich, most of the money was earned by the Hidden House Yu. All these years, the Common House Yu had earned a total of 1 billion. If he used this money to detoxify the poison, what would happen to the Common House Yu? Wouldn't they be on the path of decline? Elder Yu couldn't do something like this. Chapter 14:22. As expected. As expected, this 1 billion came prepared. Elder Yu was so pissed that he wanted to curse out loud. Did he calculate how much money House Yu had, and that's why he brought this up? This 1 billion was really high standard. Young Master Zhao, you see. House Yu can take out this 1 billion, but that's liquid capital. If we took it out, some of our businesses would have to stop operating. Elder Yu explained helplessly. I say, Elder Yu? What does all this have to do with me? Qibing frowned, getting impatient. His status was much higher than Elder Yu, who had just become a hidden noble house, so he didn't waste any more time. Elder Yu, I'll tell you the truth. If you want to cure your illness, then take out 1 billion. If you can't use cash, then you can use items of equal value to trade. Real estate, companies, or even House Yu's auction house. Otherwise, you'll have to find someone else. Qibing had been drooling over House Yu's properties for a long time. If he could get it, he'd be doing a great service to House Zhao, and even his grandpa would look at him differently. Elder Yu was depressed, but if he really turned and walked away now, that would be a reckless move. But, he'd rather die if he had to use House Yu's rise and fall as the price. Suddenly, Elder Yu thought of something. Something that might be able to move Yao Wang and Qibing's hearts. Elder Yu didn't want to part with it, but it wasn't worth a single cent to him right now. When he returned to the Hidden House Yu, he'd still have to hand it over, and it wouldn't benefit him at all. That was the qi-gathering pill he found in the tomb. A miraculous medicine that could allow someone to break through from Earth-class late-phase peak to Sky-class. But, this miraculous medicine wouldn't be of much use to Elder Yu. Elder Yu's current strength was still far from Earth-class late-phase peak, and if he was discovered by the Hidden House Yu, it'd be troublesome. He might as well use it to trade for his life. He believed that House Zhao wouldn't go around telling people about this. With that thought, Elder Yu opened his mouth. I'll use treasures of equal value to trade, can I? What kind of treasure? The king of medicine's interest was piqued as he raised his eyebrows and asked. A qi-gathering pill. It's worth a lot, and there's no market for it. Elder Yu made up his mind. Qi-gathering pill? What's that? Qibing had never heard of a qi-gathering pill before. Is it valuable? Is it worth 1 billion? Young Master Zhao, this qi-gathering pill is a divine medicine for cultivation. I believe that with the Medicine King's experience, he should know the value of the qi-gathering pill. Elder Yu knew that Zhao Qibing didn't know much, so he didn't get angry. After all, he was the one asking for help, so he explained patiently. What you're talking about? Is it really the legendary qi-gathering pill? Yao Wang's eyes froze as he looked at Elder Yu. Elder Yu, you're not joking, right? My life is in your hands, King of Medicine. Do you think I can casually joke around? Elder Yu smiled bitterly. This time, I risked my life for this qi-gathering pill, and in the end, it's all for nothing, and I've suffered so much. Elder Yu's face was a little bleak as he said this. He spent so much effort, got heavily injured, even stabbed his egg, and got poisoned to bring this qi-gathering pill out of the tomb. But to save his life, he had to give it away to someone else. How sad. If you really have something like this, then I'm the one who got the best deal. Yao Wang knew the value of the qi-gathering pill. After hearing Elder Yu's confirmation, he couldn't help but be moved. Can I have a look? Of course. Elder Yu had already decided to use it as a life-saving bargaining chip. How could he not let Yao Wang see it first? And so, Elder Yu took out a small bottle and carefully passed it to Yao Wang. He was a little reluctant. He had risked his life for this, and now it was going to belong to someone else. The Medicine King carefully took the bottle, opened it, and sniffed. His face immediately revealed a shocked expression. From the appearance, color and fragrance of the elixir, it should be at least a third-grade elixir. The color and smell are very similar to the legendary qi-gathering elixir. It should be true. I won't lie to you. Elder Yu felt his heart ache. All right, I'll do my best to cure you. Yao Wang said decisively. This was a great deal. One had to know that this was a spiritual medicine that could raise a practitioner's strength from Earth-class late-phase peak to Sky-class. Currently, the head of House Zhao was stuck at this bottleneck and hadn't made any progress for more than 6 years. If he and Zhao Qibing could give this pill to the head of the house, then their positions in House Zhao would be like heroes who had done a great service to the family. Wait. Elder Yu waved his hand to stop Yao Wang. Elder Yu, is there anything else? Yao Wang asked calmly. He was afraid that Elder Yu would change his mind and use 1 billion to exchange for this qi-gathering pill. My other body parts are injured too. Can you heal them all together? Since Elder Yu had spent so much money, naturally, he couldn't just cure the poison. Naturally, that's not a problem. Yao Wang agreed quickly. Actually, curing the poison wasn't easy for Yao Wang, but it wasn't too much effort either. It was just that in order to make Elder Yu feel that this pill was worth it, Yao Wang purposely changed the time from 1 day to 3 days. As for the injuries on Elder Yu's hand and balls, they were small problems. Yao Wang took care of them directly. After the treatment, Elder Yu felt much better. He breathed a sigh of relief and returned to the hotel. Yao Wang, that qi-gathering pill, what is it? Zhao Qibing didn't ask. Although he could tell from Yao Wang's expression that it was something good, he didn't know how good it was. Congratulations, Master Bing. This time, House Zhao will welcome a new era of glory. Yao Wang couldn't help but let out a hearty laugh. The heavens are really blessing our House Zhao. This qi-gathering pill is a spiritual medicine that can help one break through from the peak of late Earth class to Sky class. It's a legendary medicine that's rarely seen even in the ancient sections. Who would have thought that our House Zhao would get our hands on it? Chapter 1423. Naturally. Yao Wang nodded. And we, with Master Bing as the leader, will become the heroes of House Zhao. Really? Ha 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 ha. Qibing laughed excitedly. Doesn't that mean I have hope to return to House Zhao and find my roots? Of course, not only that. No one in House Zhao would dare to look down on you anymore. Even the young madam wouldn't say anything about it. Since Yao Wang was sent to Songshan to help Qibing earn money, whether he was willing or not, in the eyes of House Zhao, he was part of Qibing's illegitimate son's faction. Now that Qibing was so powerful, his status would naturally rise as well. All right. Qibing nodded. If that's the case, it really is a good thing. I'll report this to father later. While they were talking, Uncle Zhu brought Zhao Fafa into the back room of the floating cloud bar with a pale face. Uncle Zhu, how was it? Did you teach that servant a lesson? Qibing already knew the effects of the qi gathering pill through Yao Wang's explanation. He was in a good mood, imagining the scene of him returning to House Zhao, so he didn't notice Uncle Zhu's expression. Master Bing, do you know who this kid wanted me to teach a lesson to? Uncle Zhu was about to explode when he remembered what happened earlier. This was asking him to die. Who? Isn't it just a servant? Qibing paused when he heard Uncle Zhu's unfriendly tone. Servant? That servant is Lin Yi. And Lin Yi's follower, Guden. He's asking me to jump into a fire pit. Uncle Zhu pointed at Zhao Fafa. He's trying to kill us. Lin Yi. Qibing froze. Could it be that the girl he's talking about is Tang Yun? Tang Yun. He dared to tease Tang Yun. I'm really shocked. Why isn't he dead yet? Uncle Zhu didn't know what to say after seeing Zhao Fafa's fearless attitude. Slap. Qibing slapped Zhao Fafa's face. Motherfucker, you're really something. I don't even dare to do anything to Tang Yun, and you dare? You're really a piece of work. Get lost. I'm in a good mood today, so I won't argue with you. Don't let me see you again. Zhao Fafa didn't dare say anything else. He covered his face and ran away. He didn't know why Zhao Qibing was so angry, but it was obvious that this Lin Yi was very powerful. Even Zhao Qibing and Uncle Zhu were afraid of him. Zhao Fafa knew that he had messed with someone he shouldn't have messed with. Although Zhao Fafa left, Zhao Qibing still felt wronged. After listening to Uncle Zhu's story, his face darkened. Lin Yi. Lin Yi again. I'll kill you sooner or later. Master Bing, wait until you get some support from the Zhao family. Wait until the master breaks through to the heaven rank. By then, what will Lin Yi amount to? Killing him is easy. Yao Wang reminded. Right, who would I be afraid of once Grandpa advances to the heaven rank? Qibing's expression softened as he thought about his bright future. He picked up his phone and called his father, Zhao Guangyin. Qibing, what's wrong? Did House Yu's Yu Huaxing go to see you? Guangyin didn't know why Qibing was calling him. He's here, but I won't let him get away with it. I'll pay him 1 billion. Qibing said. What? 1 billion? Guangyin froze and frowned. Qibing, isn't that a little too high? After all, House Zhao and House Yu are in-laws. Wouldn't we be offending House Yu? Guangyin was worried about his wife, Yu Xiaojin's attitude. Wasn't Zhao Qibing openly going against House Yu? What's wrong? Father, are you blaming me? Qibing wasn't happy. He felt that his father was always worrying about this and that. He couldn't achieve anything great. That's not it. But Qibing, this price is a little high. Is it okay? Guangyin couldn't say that it was because of Yu Xiaojin. Father, let me finish first. Qibing said. Actually, I know a huge secret. Aunt Yu isn't with you, is she? Secret? No. I'm in the study by myself. Guangyin paused. Actually, I know that Yu Huaxing has a super elixir with him. It's called the Qi Gathering Pill. Qibing had already thought of how to maximize the credit. He turned it from a coincidence to a plan. What? Qi Gathering Pill? How does he have such a miracle elixir? Guangyin almost threw the phone away. This was too shocking. As early as 3 years ago, when Lord Zhao's breakthrough to the heaven rank was fruitless, he went to look for this kind of medicinal pill. But how could this kind of medicinal pill be so easy to find? He had to give up after a fruitless search. He didn't think that Qibing would have news of this elixir. It's an accident, isn't it? Who cares? Qibing said. So I was thinking, how can I get his elixir and give it to Grandpa? I can't take it by force, so I discussed it with Yao Wang and offered a price of 1 billion. Under Yao Wang's guidance, I got Yu Huaxing to give me the elixir. Qibing was a man who knew how to get people to his side. When he talked to his father, he pointed out Yao Wang's contribution. This made Yao Wang feel that Qibing was a good master. What? The Qi Gathering Pill is in your hands now? Guangyin was surprised and overjoyed after hearing Qibing's words. He stood up abruptly. Is that true? Yu Huaxing is willing to give me such a miracle elixir? Haha, of course, it's in my hands. Qibing said proudly. Yu Huaxing naturally didn't want to give it to me, but he had to in order to save his life. Then, does the hidden house you know about this? Guangyin suddenly thought of an important thing. Would House Yu come looking for trouble? Of course not. Even if Yu Huaxing had 10,000 guts, he wouldn't dare give us the elixir. Even if we cured him, he'd be severely punished when he returned to the hidden house Yu. Qibing didn't care. So, Father, we can't tell Auntie Yu about this. Only Grandpa knows. Chapter 14:24. Thank you, Father. Qibing was a little excited. Was he going to become a practitioner soon? Qibing was really looking forward to it. Generally speaking, whether it was the internal martial arts or the external martial arts, they were all cultivated from a young age. Once they passed that age, it would be very difficult to make any progress in cultivation. This was because at that time, the meridians and bones would already be formed. No matter how hard they worked, there would not be much effect. Naturally, Zhao Qibing had missed the chance to train, so he didn't go back to training. This was the same as Chen Yuqian. If it wasn't for Lin Yi, Chen Yuqian wouldn't be able to achieve anything in his lifetime. Of course, there were ways to change this flaw. Although Lin Yi's method was effective, it was too miraculous. Normal people wouldn't be able to do it, so for sects and hidden houses, there was another way to change a person's meridians and bones. This pill was called the Foundation Elixir. Although the Foundation Establishment pill was not a very high-grade pill, only a few people in the ancient sects could refine it. The refining process was complicated, and the success rate was extremely low. Therefore, the cost was also ridiculously high. Normally, unless one was an important person in the clan, it was impossible for them to consume this kind of pill. If Zhao Qibing could use it, it meant that House Zhao would officially bring him into the core of the family and raise him as a core disciple. All right, I'll tell Father right away. Get ready, I'll send someone to pick you up. Guangyin said solemnly. Yes, Father. Qibing replied. It had been so many years, and he hadn't been able to officially enter House Zhao. This time, it would be the start of his dream. Lin Yi didn't expect this little thing to be so stubborn. General Wei Wu chatted with him for so long, but the little guy still didn't want to leave. He wanted to stay in the tomb. But this pig's IQ wasn't low. He had deep feelings for Zhang Liju, so it was understandable. General Wei Wu and Skybolt Pig talked for a while more, and Skybolt Pig brought General Wei Wu to a stone room at the back. Lin Yi saw this and quickly got up to follow with Xiaoka. Inside the stone room, Lin Yi saw a mountain of herbs piled up on the floor. Although many of the herbs were already dried, Lin Yi could tell from the appearance that there were many rare and precious herbs among them. After the Skybolt Pig walked in, he casually picked up a few herbs with his two front paws and stuffed them into his mouth. He then chewed on them with relish. This scene stunned Xiaoka, but Lin Yi was prepared for it. Lin Yi had seen the introduction of Skybolt Pig in Zhang Liju's medical notes, and he knew that this animal relied on herbs to increase its strength. It wasn't surprising that it ate herbs like rice. Woof woof. General Wei Wu said something to Skybolt Pig, and Skybolt Pig said something to General Wei Wu as well. After that, General Wei Wu raised his head and looked at Lin Yi. He used his paw to point at the herbs and pointed at Skybolt Pig. He then waved his paw and pointed at the door. You're saying that there aren't these herbs outside, so it doesn't want to leave? Lin Yi roughly understood what General Wei Wu was trying to say and asked hesitantly. Woof woof. General Wei Wu quickly nodded, indicating that Lin Yi was right. So that's how it is. Lin Yi looked at the mountain of herbs. If he were to move all these herbs out, it would be quite a big project. Lin Yi didn't have the legendary storage ring, and he didn't have any machines in this tomb that he could borrow. One could imagine how difficult it would be to move all these herbs out. But if he didn't move out, Skybolt Pig probably wouldn't go with him. This little guy wasn't stupid. He knew that he could increase his strength by staying here, but there wouldn't be any benefits if he left. It seemed like it wasn't entirely because he missed Zhang Liju. However, if he were to ask Lin Yi to buy these herbs for Skybolt Pig to eat, Lin Yi really didn't have that much spare cash. Don't underestimate these things. Just the ginseng and Ganoderma in front of him. Any box would be worth a lot of money. Lin Yi couldn't trick Skybolt Pig into leaving and not fulfill his promise. If he did that, Lin Yi wouldn't be able to do anything to him. Lin Yi still needed him to find the fire spirit's fruit. What could he do to solve this problem? Lin Yi was in a difficult position. Right. Wasn't Skybolt Pig's goal to increase his strength? If he could increase General Wei Wu's strength, then naturally, he could increase Skybolt Pig's strength as well. Currently, Skybolt Pig was only at the middle phase of Golden class, but he could increase his strength to the early phase of Mystic class. With this kind of enticement, would this little thing leave with him? Skybolt Pig finished the herbs, and the chi in his body increased a little. Lin Yi could feel it, but it was too little. It could only be described as insignificant. Since he had made up his mind, Lin Yi walked over to Skybolt Pig. The little guy seemed to be afraid of Lin Yi, but perhaps he knew that Lin Yi was a mystic middle phase peak, and he wasn't strong enough to fight him. Although he was afraid, he didn't dare to run. Lin Yi bent down and placed his hand on Skybolt Pig's body. He activated the art of dragon mastery and transferred a strand of energy to Skybolt Pig. The energy entered Skybolt Pig's body and instantly turned into chi. It merged with Skybolt Pig's chi, and his strength increased instantly. Although Lin Yi only transferred a little bit of energy, it was still much more than what Skybolt Pig got from eating the herbs. It would not be an exaggeration to say that they were worlds apart. Lin Yi, on the other hand, only gave it a small taste of sweetness. Lin Yi breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that his idea was realized. It seemed like the little guy was the same as General Wei Wu. He didn't practice any arts or chants, and the pure energy in his body was absorbed passively, as if it was a natural treasure. Perhaps this was the difference between spiritual beasts and human cultivators. Lin Yi's action made Skybolt Pig widen his eyes, and he looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. The little thing's IQ wasn't low. It could naturally tell the difference between the effects of Lin Yi's energy and the effects of the herbs it had consumed. Chapter 14:25. Skybolt Pig's heart skipped a beat. In actuality, General Wei Wu had told him that Lin Yi was a doctor as well as a practitioner, and he had Zhang Liju's medical notes. He could be considered as Zhang Liju's medical inheritor, and it wasn't impossible for Skybolt Pig to follow him out. After all, Zhang Liju had told Skybolt Pig before he died that if other doctors met him, he could go with them and help them with their medical practice. This was Zhang Liju's wish as well. Zhang Liju had never met a suitable disciple in his life. It was hard to find a good teacher, but it was also hard to find a good disciple. Zhang Liju was a strict man, and he would rather have nothing than a substandard disciple. In the end, he couldn't find a suitable disciple, and he could only regretfully bring all his knowledge into the tomb, waiting for the right person to visit the tomb and inherit what he had learned. So Zhang Liju's tomb was designed in a very strange and ingenious way. After figuring it all out, Lin Yi admired Zhang Liju. First of all, in order to enter the tomb and take Skybolt Pig away, one had to be someone who could communicate with spirit beasts. Lin Yi couldn't do it yet, but General Wei Wu could, and so Lin Yi and the others entered the tomb without a hitch. Otherwise, they would have been stopped by the spirit beast guarding the tomb. This was Zhang Liju's first test. If he could communicate with a spirit beast, then he could enter the tomb, but if this person wasn't a doctor and was just a normal tomb raider, then the poison mist and arrows would be enough to kill the person who visited the tomb. Of course, if they were a doctor, then they could detoxify the poisons. This kind of person was what Zhang Liju was looking for as a medical inheritor. As for the character and other things, it wasn't something Zhang Liju could care about. It didn't matter if the character was good or bad, as long as they were skilled in medicine and could communicate with spirit beasts, then they could be considered as his people. Plus, Zhang Liju had saved countless people in his life, but his character was a mix of good and evil, and he wasn't a rigid person. This was somewhat similar to Lin Yi's character. The Skybolt Pig had obtained even better benefits than when he was crazily eating medicinal herbs, so he immediately waved his hands in front of Lin Yi. Lin Yi was a little speechless. Wasn't this little thing a little too snobbish? Previously, it wouldn't leave no matter what I said. Now that I've given it some benefits, it came to please me. Xiao Wei, tell it that if it wants to level up, it has to come with me. Lin Yi said to General Wei Wu, asking him to pass on his message. However, before General Wei Wu could say anything, Skybolt Pig leaped up and hugged Lin Yi tightly as if he was afraid that Lin Yi would change his mind and not bring him along. Woof woof. General Wei Wu pointed at Skybolt Pig and then at Lin Yi's mouth. It was obvious that this little guy could understand Lin Yi's words. Oh! Lin Yi was taken aback, but he nodded immediately. Since Zhang Liju could communicate with Skybolt Pig, it meant that Skybolt Pig could understand human language. This guy had always understood Lin Yi's words, and this pissed him off. Did this little thing laugh at him when he asked General Wei Wu to pass on his message? Stupid pig. You can understand my words? Lin Yi glared at Skybolt Pig. Oink oink. Skybolt Pig nodded in fear, afraid that Lin Yi would get angry and not bring him along. Let's go. Lin Yi couldn't be bothered to argue with an animal. He pulled Skybolt Pig down from his body and threw it on the ground. Walk by yourself. Oink oink. Skybolt Pig wanted to hug Lin Yi's body because he felt that Lin Yi's body was like a spirit, filled with the energy of heaven and earth. Just a little bit of it and he'd be able to benefit from it. Xiaoka saw how cute Skybolt Pig was, and she couldn't help but reach out to touch it. Suddenly, Lin Yi's jade sent a warning signal. Lin Yi was startled, and although he didn't know what danger was about to happen, he still called out subconsciously, "Careful!" Ah! Xiaoka didn't expect that the moment she touched Skybolt Pig, all the hair on its body stood up, and it turned into an angry beast. It pricked Xiaoka's hand, causing it to bleed. Why does this little guy look like a porcupine? Xiaoka quickly retracted her hand and started sucking on her finger. I didn't think that it could protect itself. Lin Yi smiled and shook his head. This little guy didn't have any attacking abilities, but it had defensive abilities. The jade warning was because Skybolt Pig was going to prick Xiaoka. Yeah, it won't even let me touch it. Xiaoka didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She touched it and got pricked. With the addition of Skybolt Pig, Lin Yi didn't plan on disturbing the owner of Zhang Liju's tomb anymore. He already got what he wanted, and Lin Yi wasn't a greedy person. Lin Yi's goal in this tomb was to find the fire spirit's fruit. So when Elder Yu took the Qi gathering pill, Lin Yi didn't feel bad about it, and he didn't chase after him and risk his life to get it back. Lin Yi didn't need to waste his energy on something that wasn't useful to Lin Yi. With Skybolt Pig and General Wei Wu, Lin Yi and Xiaoka quickly retreated through the death door. It was a safe and stable journey, and they didn't meet any danger. It seemed like their guess was right. Wherever Skybolt Pig was, there was no danger. They retreated until they reached the exit of the life door and death door, and Xiaoka suddenly felt dizzy. Male thief. I'm a little dizzy. Can we rest for a bit? Xiaoka was confused as to why she felt dizzy, but from her perspective, it was most likely due to the lack of oxygen in the tomb for too long. Oh, dizzy. Lin Yi paused. What's wrong? The air in the tomb was thinner than the outside world, but it shouldn't affect someone like Xiaoka who was used to harsh environments. Even old He didn't feel any pressure. So why would Xiaoka? As a result, Lin Yi was curious about Xiaoka's sudden dizziness. As a doctor, especially since there were many dangers in the tomb, Lin Yi still asked her nervously. I don't know, maybe it's because the air in the tomb is thinner? Xiaoka said uncertainly. Chapter 14:26. Wait, Jade? Lin Yi suddenly remembered that the jade did warn him when Yu Xiaoka was petting the pig. Lin Yi quickly grabbed Yu Xiaoka's hand. Yu Xiaoka didn't think that Lin Yi would grab her hand so suddenly. She thought that Lin Yi wanted to comfort her because of her dizziness, and she blushed. Their relationship became more and more intimate after this trip to the tomb. Yu Xiaoka's heart couldn't help but race, and this time was no exception. However, after Lin Yi grabbed Yu Xiaoka's hand, he didn't do anything else. Instead, he checked Yu Xiaoka's wound. So it's like this. Lin Yi saw that Yu Xiaoka's wound was red and swollen, and he nodded in realization. Tianlei pig's thorns are poisonous. Poisonous? Yu Xiaoka felt that the wound on her hand was indeed itchy after hearing what Lin Yi said. Stupid pig. Give me the antidote. Lin Yi kicked Tianlei pig and said. Oink oink. Tianlei pig felt wronged, as if he was expressing his innocence. He didn't do it on purpose, but he instinctively defended himself when Yu Xiaoka got close to him. Lin Yi couldn't understand Tianlei pig's words, but General Wei Wu could. Woof woof. General Wei Wu pointed at Yu Xiaoka and waved its paw, then it made a sleeping posture. Oh. It means that the poison isn't a big deal, and you'll be fine after sleeping, Lin Yi explained to Yu Xiaoka. I see. Yu Xiaoka sighed in relief. Is there any way to cure it? Lin Yi asked again. Oink oink. Skybolt Pig heard Lin Yi's words and was a little unwilling, but after thinking about it for a while, he walked over to Xiaoka and used his front paw to pull out a hair from his body. He poked Xiaoka's hand with the hair on the other side of the hair follicle. Ah! Xiaoka cried out in pain. However, Lin Yi didn't stop him. He knew that the pig was trying to cure Yu Xiaoka's poison. If he dared to harm Yu Xiaoka again in front of Lin Yi, then he wouldn't be able to live anymore. Gigi, the skybolt pig threw away its fur and shook its body, telling Lin Yi that the poison had been detoxified. How miraculous! The wound on my hand isn't itchy anymore, and I don't feel dizzy anymore. Yu Xiaoka exclaimed in surprise. This little thing is so miraculous. Next time, watch your enemies carefully. If you poke people again, I'll kick you out. Lin Yi said to the pig. Gee. The skybolt pig nodded to show that it understood. After leaving the tomb through the life door, Lin Yi brought Xiaoka, skybolt pig, and General Wei Wu, jumping up to the cliff on the side. Lin Yi ran like he was flying, and Yu Xiaoka's qinggong was good as well. The 2 humans and 2 beasts soon arrived at the nearby town. Flying Sparrow, let's part ways here. We can get on the train from here. Lin Yi pointed at the train station. We'll meet again. Ah, we're going to part ways. Yu Xiaoka looked at Lin Yi, unwilling to leave. Since she was young, other than her master, the male thief was the one who cared for her the most. Yu Xiaoka would remember this tomb raiding experience for the rest of her life. She would never forget how the male thief had saved her from danger time and time again. Haha, go back and live a good life. Don't come out anymore, and I won't do it anymore. I can't take care of you anymore. Lin Yi said to Yu Xiaoka. Oh! Yu Xiaoka nodded, a little disappointed. The male thief said that he was looking for a spiritual medicine for his girlfriend, so it was normal for him to give up. Then, will we meet again? Xiaoka knew that her question was a little silly. The male thief wasn't raiding tombs anymore, and she wasn't participating in missions like this anymore. The chances of the 2 of them meeting each other were basically 0. Perhaps, they would never see each other again. If there are no accidents, I don't think so. Lin Yi smiled. The identity of the male thief was coming to an end. This person wasn't Lin Yi in the first place. It was Lin Yi in disguise. Now that the mission was over, naturally, he wouldn't pretend to be the male thief anymore unless Lin Yi had nothing better to do. I see. Yu Xiaoka already knew the answer, but she only gave up after asking it. All right, let's part ways here. Lin Yi said. You're very pretty, and a kind girl. I hope you find the happiness that belongs to you. How could Lin Yi not know what Yu Xiaoka was thinking? But Lin Yi really didn't have the mood to develop anything with her. One was because of the restrictions of his identity, and the other was because he was worried about Xiaoxiao's safety. Oh! Yu Xiaoka lowered her head, as if she understood what the male thief meant. But she suddenly raised her head again and gathered her courage. Then, can you take off your mask and let me see your face? No! Lin Yi rejected her decisively. What kind of joke was this? Wouldn't you recognize me if I took it off? Just one look. Just one look. I won't tell anyone. Yu Xiaoka begged. What difference does it make? Lin Yi said faintly. At least, let me have a good memory. Yu Xiaoka said after some hesitation. All right, how about this? Perhaps we'll meet again. I'll appear with my original face, and if you recognize me, I won't deny it. Is that okay? Lin Yi said helplessly. Oh! Yu Xiaoka didn't think much about it. She thought that the male thief was just trying to brush her off. All right, I'm leaving. Take care. Lin Yi said and turned around, bringing General Wei Wu and Skybolt Pig with him as he walked away. Male thief, I like you. Yu Xiaoka looked at the back of the male thief and finally gathered enough courage to shout out her heart. Yu Xiaoka wasn't a shy girl. In fact, she dared to love and hate. She felt that if she didn't voice out her feelings now, she wouldn't have another chance in the future. Lin Yi's footsteps paused for a moment, but he continued to walk forward as usual. I'll definitely find you. Yu Xiaoka shouted out her heart and became bolder. Although I don't know what you look like, it's rare to see a dog and a pig with you. I just need to remember them, and I'll find you. Chapter 14:27. Looking at General Wei Wu and Skybolt Pig beside him, Lin Yi wanted to cry but no tears came out. Wasn't this too obvious? Lin Yi decided that he must hide Skybolt Pig well when he got back. He must never bring him out. And it's decided. Xiaoka saw that Lin Yi didn't answer her, and she couldn't help but feel sad and disappointed. She shook her head, turned around, and quickly ran to the bus station. She suppressed her feelings deep in her heart. Once she returned to the orphanage, she would become the old Xiaoka again. She would work hard for the children every day. And Xiaoka, you can do it. Xiaoka cheered herself on. And so, she smiled again. Lin Yi seemed to have left, but in fact, he watched Xiaoka get into the car before leaving with General Wei Wu and Skybolt Pig. The car they took was Chen Yuqian's, and he probably drove back already. So, Lin Yi didn't go back to the campsite. He took off his mask and took a taxi back to Songshan. Returning to the familiar villa, Lin Yi pressed the doorbell. Lin Yi didn't bring the key when he left. Not long after, footsteps came from the villa. Lin Yi could tell that it was Yushu. Shield bro. Yushu opened the door and saw Lin Yi standing outside. She exclaimed in excitement, Yao Yao sis, Shield bro is back. Yushu ran towards Lin Yi after shouting. Her chest was jiggling, and it made Lin Yi excited. He hadn't seen it for a long time. It was great that he could get such benefits as soon as he came home. Hurried footsteps came from the villa again. Meng Yao came out as well. Seeing Lin Yi, she smiled happily. Lin Yi, you're back. And I'm back. Lin Yi nodded to the Mississippi. The miss had gotten a lot friendlier these days. How are you guys? Did anything happen at home? Lin Yi's words made Meng Yao's face dim. Something happened. Zhou Jiaming seems to be injured. I don't know the details, but can you go check on him? Wu Chintian is heavily injured as well, and he's resting in your room with Zhou Jiaming. Wu Chintian. Lin Yi blinked. Why is he here? Lin Yi couldn't be blamed for his surprise. His relationship with Chintian had never been that good. There wasn't any deep hatred between them, but Chintian did see him as a rival in love. Why would he come here to recover after getting injured? Well, it's a long story. Meng Yao didn't know how to tell her about Chintian. Why don't you ask Zhou Jiaming? All right. Lin Yi didn't really care if Chintian was injured or not, but Zhou Jiaming was injured as well. Lin Yi nodded and quickly walked into the room. Lin Yi didn't need to care about Skybolt Pig. General Wei Wu would take it to where it belonged. Oh, what's this? Why's it so cute? Yushu was surprised to see the Skybolt Pig behind Lin Yi. A little pig. Lin Yi said. It's called Skybolt Pig. It's used to find the fire spirit's fruit. What a cute pig. Yushu said, reaching out to pet the pig. Right. We've been talking about Zhou Jiaming. How's the fire spirit's fruit? Meng Yao was worried about Xiaoxiao's safety as well. Not in the tomb, but there's some news. I'll go check on Erguden first. We'll talk about the fruit later. Lin Yi glared at Skybolt Pig. Look at who's friend. They're all on our side. If you hurt them again, you'll get a beating. Oink oink. Skybolt Pig nodded hard. Yushu and Meng Yao went to study Skybolt Pig, and Lin Yi quickly walked into his room. Guden heard the sound as well, but he had no strength left in his body. Other than barely being able to talk, he could only lie on the bed. Chintian, on the other hand, was in an even worse state. His meridians were all broken, and his organs were all shifted. Boss, you're back. Guden finally smiled when he saw Lin Yi walk in. I didn't disappoint you, I finally made it. What's wrong with you, kid? You've only been here for a short while, and you've already learned how to talk. Lin Yi knew about Guden's situation, and he could roughly guess what was going on. Overexertion? Yeah. Guden nodded. It's nothing. I can still hold on. Boss, you're good. Chintian was worried. After all, he had some conflict with Lin Yi, and he was afraid that Lin Yi wouldn't accept him. He'd be in big trouble then. Not only would he be heavily injured, but he'd also offended a bunch of noble houses. House Wu would be done for. Wu Chintian, since when did I become your big boss? Lin Yi blinked, confused as he looked at Chintian. Boss, let me tell you. Wu Chintian did his best when I was injured. Guden had already accepted Chintian in his heart, and naturally, he wanted Lin Yi to accept him as well. And so, Guden told Lin Yi everything that happened after Lin Yi left, including how he killed the two masters from House Pai, and then Jin Wudi. Then, Uncle Zhu brought Zhao Fafa to Tang Yun, and Chintian sacrificing himself. Oh! Lin Yi looked at Chintian, shocked. He didn't think that he would change like this. He actually accepted Gooden as his boss. Big boss, don't worry. I won't have any thoughts about Sun Jingyi anymore. She's my big sister-in-law now, and I'll protect her like how I protect Tang Yun. Qintian was afraid that Lin Yi would still remember what happened to Sun Jingyi, so he quickly explained. Me and Sun Jingyi. We don't have anything to do with each other. Lin Yi smiled bitterly after hearing what Qintian said. It doesn't matter if we have anything to do with each other or not. I've decided that I'll focus on learning martial arts from Boss and Big Boss. I hope Boss and Big Boss won't look down on me. Qintian quickly expressed his intentions. Ha! All right, I'll accept you. Lin Yi could see Qintian's sincerity. This person actually didn't have much conflict with Lin Yi, but because of Sun Jingyi, he was set up by Xiao a couple of times. Now that he was injured protecting Tang Yun, Lin Yi couldn't reject him. Chapter 14:28. Having someone like Qintian as a bodyguard wasn't a bad idea, so Lin Yi decided to take him in. Qintian's face relaxed after hearing Lin Yi's words. Thank you, boss. But, I can't teach you much about physical martial arts. I don't have any special training experience. Lin Yi waved his hand and said, however, I can concoct some special potions that can transform the body for you. Soak your palms in it, and it should help your iron fist training a lot. Lin Yi was a physical practitioner as well, but he didn't have much of it, and he didn't have any practitioner's arts. He only used some of the old man's potions to change his body's muscles and bones, and this was one of the reasons why Lin Yi was stronger than normal practitioners. That's great, thank you, boss. Qintian said excitedly. He thought that Lin Yi would have to go through a period of testing before giving him some benefits, but he didn't think that Lin Yi would give him a greeting gift right away. In fact, Lin Yi did want to test Qintian, but time didn't allow it. Lin Yi wanted to find the fruit as soon as possible, and he didn't have much time left in Songshan. He had to settle things here and go on a new journey. And so, since Gooden had already tested Qintian, Lin Yi didn't need to test him again. At least, Lin Yi could see the sincerity in Qintian's eyes. No need to thank me, but don't be stupid and let people trick you again. Lin Yi looked at Qintian. You've been tricked by Xiao so many times, and that's fine, but you need to be smarter in the future. Don't always go out and act like you're cool. Xiao, didn't I get tricked by sis-in-law? We're family, so it's not tricked. Qintian explained awkwardly, but don't worry, boss, I'll be careful. Lin Yi nodded and didn't say anything else. Zhao Fafa brought a Zhu guy to cause trouble for Tang Yun? Is Zhao Qibing tired of living? After that, I analyzed it with Miss Chu. It should be because Uncle Zhu didn't know that Tang Yun was your girlfriend, boss, and Zhao Fafa didn't tell the truth, so they went to find trouble with Tang Yun's sis-in-law. Qintian explained. Big boss. This name is a bit too weird. You can call me Big Boss Lin Yi from now on. You can also call me Zhou Jiaming, Lin Yi corrected. All right, I'll call him Boss Lin Yi then. Qintian said straightforwardly. He'd call him whatever Lin Yi liked. You don't know? I can't just let it go if you don't know. But you're the one who's injured, so I'll respect your decision on how to deal with Zhao Qibing. Lin Yi raised his head and looked at Qintian. Do you want some benefits, or do you want to step on him yourself when you're strong enough? Qintian wasn't Tang Yun, so Lin Yi couldn't help him. Although he was Lin Yi's follower, there was still a difference between him and a woman. Can I? Boss Lin Yi. Can I step on him myself? Qintian heard Lin Yi's words and his eyes lit up. Forget about the benefits, I want to step on him myself. All right, I'll let you step on him yourself. Lin Yi sighed and decided to help Qintian increase his strength. He'd left, Gooden had left as well, and he didn't feel safe leaving Uncle Fu here alone. The only person he could use right now was Wu Qintian. Boss Lin Yi, I'll wait for this day. No matter how much pain I have to endure, no matter how much effort I have to put in, I can endure it. As long as I can cripple that old man with my own hands, I'll be able to act cool for a moment. Qintian gritted his teeth and swore. Lin Yi was speechless at Qintian's pretentious attitude. He said unhappily, how many days do you want to wait? Endure hardships and endure? You can wait, but I can't. Qintian froze after hearing Lin Yi's words. What do you mean? Nothing. Tomorrow, you'll go and cripple that old man Zhu. Then come back and stay in the villa peacefully as a bodyguard for Mengyao Yushu and Tang Yun. Lin Yi said. Tomorrow? Chen Tian opened his mouth and looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. He wondered if there was something wrong with his ears. He was still lying on the bed today. How was he going to take revenge tomorrow? Not to mention that his injuries weren't healed yet. Even if he did, he wouldn't be a match for Uncle Zhu. Tomorrow. Lin Yi nodded with certainty. Chen Tian, on the other hand, was very confused. He didn't know what Lin Yi was so confident that he could go to Uncle Zhu for revenge tomorrow. He asked, Boss Lin Yi, my injuries. And I'm not strong enough? Are you going to hug him and let me hit him? I'll heal your injuries, and I'll help you increase your strength, Lin Yi said. We'll talk about this later. I'll send Gooden back first. I'm fine. I've been holding on for so many days already. A little more doesn't matter. Gooden shook his head nonchalantly. We can't drag it any longer. Did you tell Yuan? I'm worried about you going back alone. I'll send you back to the train and have Yuan go home with you? Lin Yi asked. I did tell her about my injuries, but asking her to go back with me. I didn't ask, so I don't know if she'll go back with me? Gooden scratched his head embarrassedly. Boss, I'm afraid that she'll reject. How do you know if you don't ask? Lin Yi was experienced. She'll go back with you. At first, Lin Yi wasn't sure if Tang Yun would go back with him, but she chose to go with him without hesitation. Then, I'll just ask. Gooden hesitated and decided to call Yuan. He didn't let Ling Shan leak the news of Yutian's injuries, and of course, that included Lin Yi. First, Yutian didn't want his sister to know. If he told Lin Yi, it would be the same as letting Yushu know. The siblings were very close, and Yutian was afraid that Yushu would be sad if she knew. Second, he didn't want Lin Yi to cause trouble for House Yu. Everyone had seen House Yu's strength in the tomb. It wasn't wise to ask Lin Yi to go to House Yu to avenge him. Lin Yi had more important things to do. Chapter 1429. Today, Ling Shan had an appointment with Sun Jingyi from House Sunday. She wanted to talk about Chen Yutian. Although she knew that the chances were slim, she had to try no matter what. It was a coffee shop, and Ling Shan was wearing sunglasses as she sat at a table in front of a glass window, waiting for Sun Jingyi to arrive. Sun Jingyi was still driving her red Audi A4L. What surprised her was that Wu Tian didn't bother her at all. As Sun Jingyi returned to her peaceful days, she started to miss Lin Yi. Could it be that she really fell in love with this young man? Sun Jingyi denied this thought. Lin Yi didn't have anything worthy of praise. Did he? He was just a big thief. How could he be worthy of her, Sun Jingyi? But Lin Yi wasn't just a big thief. He had other identities, and he wasn't weak either. In fact, Sun Jingyi couldn't find a reason to ask Lin Yi out again. So, she started to look down on Lin Yi in her heart, reminding herself not to be interested in Lin Yi anymore. Sun Jingyi parked her car in front of the coffee shop and walked in quickly. She saw Ling Shan sitting by the window. Although Sun Jie didn't have much contact with House Song, Sun Jingyi still had an impression of this famous captain of the criminal investigation team. She had seen her on TV before. Recently, Ling Shan had solved many big cases. Miss Sun? Hello. Ling Shan, naturally, knew about Sun Jingyi's information beforehand. So, she recognized Sun Jingyi the moment she walked in. She stood up and waved. Sun Jingyi nodded and sat in front of Ling Shan. Officer Song, why are you looking for me? Since they chose to meet in a coffee shop, it couldn't be about work. But Sun Jingyi couldn't understand why Ling Shan wanted to meet her. They didn't seem to have any personal relationship. Call me Ling Shan. This isn't the police station. Ling Shan smiled. I'll call you Jingyi, is that okay? Of course. Sun Jingyi was even more confused. What was Ling Shan trying to do? Jingyi, come sit. What would you like to drink? Ling Shan smiled. Anything. Juice is fine. Sun Jingyi sighed and decided to skip the pleasantries. Her instincts told her that Ling Shan wanted to meet her for something. So Sun Jingyi decided to go straight to the point. Ling Shan, why are you looking for me? It's like this. Ling Shan was embarrassed that Sun Jingyi saw through her intentions. Then I'll be straight to the point, okay? House Sun's practitioner's arts. Which stage are you at? Only the first stage. Why? Could it be that you want to ask for House Sun's help during the Noble House meeting? Sun Jingyi couldn't figure out what Lingshan was thinking. At the moment, the only thing that could make the two interact was the noble house meeting. That's not it. I just want to ask you to help heal someone, Lingshan said, finding it hard to bring up the topic. Heal someone? Sun Jingyi frowned. What do you mean? I'm not a doctor. How am I supposed to heal someone? His meridians are damaged. Normal doctors won't be able to help him. I can only ask for your help, Lingshan said carefully. Lingshan, since you're asking for my help, then you should know how special House Sun's practitioners' arts are, right? Sun Jingyi didn't reject her directly. She asked in a roundabout way. I know. But he really needs help. If he can't recover, then his family will never be able to recover, Lingshan said. So, I'm begging you from the bottom of my heart. You can help him, no matter what it is, just tell me. Lingshan, don't you think that your request is a little presumptuous? Sun Jingyi decided to tell the truth. This was a matter of principle. Sun Jingyi couldn't lie to Lingshan. I know it's a little presumptuous, but this is his last hope. Lingshan smiled bitterly. Forgive me for being blunt, but if I heal him, then the true qi produced in my body can only be used by him in the future. I am not related to him in any way. If it were you, would you do this? Sun Jingyi said faintly, unless you're my future husband. If not, then I'm sorry. It's fine. Actually, I already knew the result. Jingyi, don't be angry. Lingshan saw that Sun Jingyi was a little angry and quickly explained. I know you're worried. But, I really can't do this. Sun Jingyi rejected. Instead of begging me, you might as well get him a meridian opening pill. Meridian opening pill. Lingshan smiled bitterly. This is a treasure even in a hidden house. How am I supposed to get it? Sun Jingyi shrugged helplessly. It was true. The meridian opening pill was hard to come by even in a hidden house, let alone Lingshan. Otherwise, House Sun wouldn't have such a high position as one of the noble houses. Although House Sun's arts didn't just heal wounds, it could also increase a person's strength. But if the meridian opening pill was too common, House Sun wouldn't be able to rise to such a high position. I'm sorry, but that's not something I need to worry about. Sun Jingyi nodded to Lingshan. Lingshan, if there's nothing else, I'll be leaving first. All right, thank you too. Lingshan sighed and was about to call the waiter for the bill when an ear-piercing alarm sounded. Lingshan raised her head and saw that there was a commotion at the bank across the street. The alarm was coming from the bank. Not good. Lingshan realized something immediately. Excuse me, she said to Jingyi before leaving the money on the table. She didn't even bother to keep the change, and ran out of the coffee shop as fast as she could. But, even so, Lingshan was one step too slow. A figure carrying a sack ran out of the bank. His speed and body were both super fast, and in the blink of an eye, he disappeared into the alley beside the bank. Lingshan felt a sense of familiarity as she looked at the disappearing silhouette, but she didn't have time to think about it. She crossed the road and rushed to the alley beside the bank, but the alley was empty by the time she got there. There was no one there at all. Chapter 1430. Looking at the empty alley, Lingshan had no choice but to give up. The robbers should have already left with a vehicle, and chasing after them would be futile. She turned around and went back to the bank, her face a little dark as she yelled, Everyone, don't panic, I'm the robber. Is the person in charge here? I'm the vice president on duty, a middle-aged man said as he ran over. I was the one who called the police. I didn't rush here, I was on the other side of the road and heard the alarm, Lingshan said. Lingshan said, I'm the captain of the city police's criminal investigation team, Song Lingshan. This is my ID. Please tell me what happened and show me the surveillance footage. All right. The vice president, naturally, didn't care if Lingshan just happened to see it or not. He'd heard of Lingshan's name before. It was like this. Lingshan couldn't help but furrow her brows after hearing the vice president's explanation. The exact same robbery method, the exact same outfit. At least from the initial analysis, it should be the same person as the previous robberies. As the vice president was explaining the situation, police sirens came from outside the bank. Lu Wangli brought his men and rushed into the bank, only to see Lingshan there. Captain Song, why are you here? Lu Wangli paused. I was in the cafe opposite, and I saw the whole process of the robbers' escape,
But he was too quick. He was already gone by the time I got here.
Ling Shan said, a little regretful. Yeah, from the previous robberies, this robber seems to have gone through professional training. Not only is he fast, but he's also fast when he escapes. Lu Wangli nodded helplessly. This is the 6th case already. It's only been a few days. Ling Shan could only put Yu Tian's matter aside for now and focus on solving the robberies. The robber's boldness and arrogance were out of her expectations. This robber had reached a stage where he didn't care about anything. Hidden House Zhao, the young master of the house, Zhao Guangyin, was anxiously standing in front of his father's room, waiting for him to come out. Elder Bai, how long has father been in seclusion? Guangyin looked at the time and asked urgently. It's been about 3 days. According to the time, he should be out soon. Elder Bai said faintly, please don't rush, young master. I'm not allowed to disturb the master when he's in solitary training. In order to advance from the earth rank to the heaven rank, old man Zhao would often go into seclusion, but he would come out every 2 or 3 days to inquire about the Zhao family's affairs. If there was nothing important, he would go back into seclusion. All right. Zhao Guangyin nodded respectfully. Is Guangyin here? Old Zhao's voice came from the room behind Elder Bai.
Head, the young head is here.
Elder Bai quickly replied respectfully when he heard Elder Zhao's voice.
Let him in.
Old man Zhao said.
Yes, Patriarch.
Elder Bai quickly said and made a welcoming gesture to Guangyin. Young head, please come in.
Guangyin nodded and said to Elder Bai. Elder Bai, I have something very important to tell my father.
It concerns the future of the Zhao family, so please don't let anyone near.
Don't worry, young head. I will watch the door.
Elder Bai's face turned serious after hearing Guangyin's words. Although he was directly under Elder Zhao's command, Guangyin was still the young head. Elder Bai still respected him a lot. Since Guangyin said it was important, then whether it was for the sake of the Zhao family or his responsibility to Elder Zhao, he had to guard the door. He couldn't let anyone near. Zhao Guangyin walked into Old Master Zhao's villa. At this moment, Old Master Zhao was sitting in the living room of the villa's main entrance. He was dressed in a white training outfit and held a cup of fragrant tea in his hand. He looked like an immortal.
Father. Guangyin bowed and said respectfully.
Yes, Guangyin is here. What is it? Lord Zhao nodded and said. From what you said, is there anything that concerns the future development of our Zhao family? What is it?
Father, it's about Lil Bing.
Guangyin said.
Zhao Qibing.
Old Zhao couldn't help but frown when he heard the name. He had never liked this illegitimate child. After all, House Zhao and House Yu were in-laws, and Zhao Guangyin had an illegitimate child outside. How was he supposed to face House Yu like this? So, Elder Zhao could only pretend that he didn't know about it and didn't mention it publicly. He also didn't let Qibing return to House Zhao, and House Yu didn't find anything wrong with it.
What trouble did he cause this time?
Elder Zhao's first thought was that Qibing had caused trouble. Father, Zhao Qibing has done a great deed for House Zhao this time. Zhao Guangyin actually hoped that Elder Zhao would recognize Qibing. After all, Qibing was his son, and Zhao Guangyin was a man who valued boys over girls. Even though Qibing was an illegitimate child, he still valued him a lot. He couldn't help but exaggerate when he introduced Qibing's contributions to the family. Great deed? What credit? Old man Zhao was stunned. What did he do outside? It's like this. Guangyin quickly explained how Qibing and Yao Wang had tricked House Yu's Yu Huashing into giving them the qi-gathering pill. What? Qi-gathering pill? This thing really appeared. When old man Zhao heard Zhao Guangyin's words, he immediately stood up in excitement. He was a calm person, and it was rare for anything to make him so excited. However, today, he couldn't hold it in anymore. Yes, Zhao Qibing, this child, it's been hard on him. He's just being filial to you. He's always remembered that you're an Earth class late phase peak, and he's been trying so hard to break through to Sky class, but to no avail, so he tried everything he could to find the whereabouts of this qi-gathering pill. Guangyin said, this child, he dared to ask Yu Huashing, an Earth class, for this pill. He's willing to put his life on the line for you, father. You have to know that if Yu Huashing isn't happy, Lil Bing won't be a match for him. Chapter 1431. Guangyin, there's no need to say. I understand what you mean. Old Zhao naturally understood the meaning behind Guangyin's words.
He waved his hand and interrupted. Let Elder Bai bring Qibing back.
No matter what, whether or not the qi gathering pill is real or fake, he has this filial piety.
As his grandfather, I can't disappoint him.
Father is wise, Zhao Guangyin said excitedly after hearing his father's words. Guangyin, this child, I'll acknowledge him this time. Of course, if the pill is real, I'll give him what he deserves. Old Zhao said, in our house, we've always been fair with rewards and punishments. Naturally, those who contribute will not be neglected. It should be real. Yu Huaxing risked his life to get it. It can't be fake, Guangyin said. But House Yu, keep it a secret from Jean. If Yu Huaxing isn't an idiot, he wouldn't say it himself. Jean may be your wife, but she's still a Yu. Old Zhao said faintly, of course if we can't keep it a secret, then there's no need to keep it. We didn't steal or rob, it was a normal exchange. What can House Yu do to us? So be it. To me, the pill is much more important than the marriage with House Yu. Once I become a sky class, House Zhao's strength will rise to another level. You're right, father. Guangyin breathed a sigh of relief. He was afraid that House Yu would really get the news and push all the responsibility to Qibing, handing him over. But now that Elder Zhao had spoken, he'd take all the responsibility on himself. All right, bye. Come in for a bit. Old Zhao's face was calm, but his heart was impatient. It was a qi gathering pill, after all, a super medicine that could make him become a sky class. The sooner he used it, the sooner he could become a sky class. Head. Elder Bai quickly walked in and bowed respectfully to Elder Zhao and Guangyin. Bai, you and Guangyin, go to Songshan and bring Qibing back. Make sure he's safe. Old Zhao said. Yes. Elder Bai said. Father, I'm going to Songshan with Elder Bai. Is that okay? As for the Noble House Association, Guangyin was a cautious man. He'd suffered too much from his playfulness when he was young. If it weren't for the marriage with House Yu, he wouldn't have been able to become the young head of the house. Although he was the eldest son, his other brothers weren't any weaker than him. They were all mystic late phase masters, so Guangyin had to be careful. That's not a problem. You're bringing our son home, not doing anything else. The Arbitration Association won't stick their noses into other people's business. Lord Zhao smiled and said, Guangyin, you've been a bit too careful all these years I've been in seclusion. This isn't the bearing a future patriarch should have. If I really step into the heaven realm, then I won't be managing the family's affairs in the future. I want to pursue a higher heavenly Tao, and you should support the Zhao family. The Arbitration Association doesn't allow people from the hidden houses, especially Earth-class masters, to go to the common world. They're afraid that the hidden houses and the noble houses will have conflicts and break the balance. But if you go do your personal business, that's fine. Yes, father, I understand. Guangyin couldn't help but be overjoyed. Years of wife had finally become a woman. Just as his father had said, once he stepped into the heaven class, then he wouldn't be managing the family's affairs anymore. At that time, he could slowly take over House Zhao and become the true head of the house. Guangyin and Elder Bai didn't stay for long. They both went to pack up and prepared to leave for Songshan Floating Cloud Bar. A black Audi A8L quietly parked in front of the door. After the driver got off, he quickly opened the front and back doors. The first to get off was naturally Elder Bai, followed by Guangyin. No matter what, Zhao Guangyin was the future head of House Zhao, and old Zhao's words had revealed some information. Elder Bai naturally had to give him the necessary respect. Elder Bai and Guangyin entered the Floating Cloud Bar. The bar was already open for business, and there was a lot of noise inside. Elder Bai frowned, evidently not a fan of this environment, but he didn't say anything. Where's your boss? Guangyin asked a random waiter. You're looking for the boss? Please wait a moment. The waiter wasn't surprised. He knew that there were many people who came to the bar to ask for Yao Wang's help, so he used the walkie-talkie to contact Su Jiaonong. Mr. Su, someone's looking for you. Su Jiaonong quickly walked out of the room and saw Guangyin and Elder Bai. But Su Jiaonong didn't know them. He walked over and said, I'm the owner of the bar, Su Jiaonong. What do you need? Su Jiaonong? Is Zhao Qibing here? Guangyin thought that his name was a joke. It was comparable to Zihua's. You're looking for Master Bing? May I ask who you are? Jiaonong couldn't tell what these two were here for, and he didn't know if they were here to cause trouble or to seek medical help. "I'm his father," Guangyin said impatiently. "Get Zhao Qibing out here." Jiaonong paused, subconsciously thinking that this was a sexual assault. After all, someone suddenly appeared out of nowhere and said that he was Zhao Qibing's father. It was normal for Jiaonong to misunderstand. "Sihua bro, someone's sexual assault." Jiaonong quickly turned on the walkie-talkie and asked Sihua for help. Guangyin was about to explode. He came here to look for his son, but was treated as a sexual assault? What kind of logic was this? He was just about to explode when he saw Sihua rush out of the room with a few of his men behind him. Sihua said as he walked, "Who dares to commit sexual assault here? Do you want to die?" "Sihua bro, it's him. He says he's Master Bing's father." Jiaonong pointed at Guangyin. "Boss." Jiaonong didn't know Guangyin, but Sihua did. Sihua jumped when he saw that Guangyin was here in person. He kicked Jiaonong. "You bastard, this is the big boss. What kind of eyes do you have?" "He's Master Bing's father." Jiaonong paused, his face darkening. How would he know that this was Zhao Qibing's father? Chapter 1432. Sihua nodded and went into the room to push Qibing out in a wheelchair. Qibing was pleasantly surprised to hear that his father was here to welcome him. "Dad, you're here." "And?" Zhao Guangyin nodded. "Qibing, take that thing and come with me to the Zhao family." There were too many people here, so Guangyin didn't mention the qi gathering pill. "Okay." Qibing nodded quickly. "That thing is in my arms, should we leave now?" "Let's go." Guangyin knew that Qibing's legs were broken, but seeing his son in a wheelchair with his own eyes still made him very emotional. He walked over and pushed Qibing's wheelchair towards the entrance of the bar. "Sihua, I'll leave everything here to you. Don't worry, boss. I'll do my best to take care of things here while Master Bing isn't here." Sihua nodded. "Okay, but remember, you have to keep a low profile during this time. Don't cause any trouble." Guangyin reminded. "There's a saying that goes, take a step back and you'll see the world. The head of the house is definitely going into isolation, and we can't let anything happen during this time. We have to do everything we can to pave the way for the head of the house to level up." "Yes, boss." Sihua's face turned serious as he replied. It seemed that old Zhao was going to break through to sky class soon, and once he did, the strength of House Zhao would increase immeasurably, so they couldn't let anything happen while he was leveling up. Guangyin nodded and left the bar with Elder Bai and Qibing. They came to the car, and Elder Bai carried Qibing to the back seat first, leaving him in the front passenger seat. He did this because Guangyin was the future head of the house, and because Qibing had done a great service for House Zhao. If the qi gathering pill was real, then Qibing's position would definitely rise, and he might even become the heir. After Zhao Guangyin got in the car, he ordered the driver to drive back to the Zhao family. They didn't want to stay in Songshan for too long. "Qibing, let me introduce you. This is Elder Bai, your grandpa's housekeeper and also the old housekeeper of House Zhao," Guangyin said. "You can call him Grandpa Bai." "Yes, father." Qibing replied respectfully before turning to Elder Bai. "Hello, Grandpa Bai. Thank you for your help earlier." "Haha, young master, this kid is not bad. He's polite." Elder Bai smiled and nodded. Guangyin felt a bit awkward. He knew that Elder Bai was implying that his and Yu Xiaojin's son was arrogant and bossy, but it wasn't too surprising. He was the son of the first wife, the son of the head of the house. Especially at their rebellious age, they didn't know their place. This Zhao Qibing, on the other hand, was praised by Elder Bai. Guangyin knew what kind of person Qibing was. He was arrogant and bossy outside, but he was a bit more obedient in front of the elders. But Zhao Guangyin wouldn't say anything. In the family, although he was the young master, Elder Bai was very close to his second brother's son. He didn't like Zhao Guangyin's own son, and Elder Bai was an elder of the family. When Zhao Guangyin became the head of the family, he would definitely enter the elder council. So his opinion on the next head of the family was very important. Now that he had a good impression of Qibing, Guangyin was happy. When it came to choosing the next head of the house, even if Qibing was chosen, it would be much better than his second brother's son. "You're flattering me, Elder Bai. Being polite is a traditional virtue," Qibing said humbly. "But I haven't seen much of the world, so I don't know the rules. Please don't mind me, Elder Bai. When I see Grandpa later, please give me some pointers." Of course, when the time comes, you'll just follow your grandpa by. I'll help you check. Elder Bai was very happy with Qibing's words. They didn't say anything on the way, and when the car entered the Zhao Manor, Qibing and Elder Bai breathed out in relief. The importance of this pill was priceless, and they were afraid that something would happen on the way. Fortunately, House Yu didn't know anything yet. After entering the manor, they could only park in the parking lot. The inside of the manor was full of rugged paths, and only people could walk, not cars. So Guangyin and Elder Bai had to get off the car and walk, while Qibing was still in the wheelchair. Qibing was fascinated by the scenery inside the manor. Was this House Zhao? Wouldn't it be great if he became the master of this place? Zhao Qibing took a deep breath. He had decided that he had to seize this opportunity. If he became the master of House Zhao one day, then whatever Lin Yi, whatever Er Guden, they wouldn't even be able to do anything to him. They were just ants in front of him.
Guangyin, this is.
Guangyin didn't think that he'd see his wife, Yu Shaojin,